But like I said, most regular enemies can just be killed with simple attacks. We should really talk about the gore, which makes the combat very enjoyable. If you didn't notice already, you can cut enemies in various ways. You get the same treatment if you get killed, by the way, it's very brutal. Cutting enemies in half never gets boring in this game. I think I'm saying that a lot for all games that have these memorable features, but still, the gore effects are very enjoyable in Blade of Darkness, and it's one of the staples of this combat system. All weapons have durability as well, which means they can break. It takes a while for that to happen, so I didn't find it very annoying. There is something very addictive about the gameplay in these older games, and I can't quite put my finger on it. The level design might be one of those things. I absolutely love the old school level design, and the maps you're going to explore are pretty big and vertical. All of these maps have a lot of verticality in terms of multiple floors and different areas to explore. You'll usually need to find keys for certain doors, which makes you explore the whole map, but it never feels tedious. Sometimes the game will dial this up and you'll need to find multiple items on the map to open a door, or lift in this particular case. The game tells you very little about what you need to do, so you can get stuck sometimes. That can certainly get annoying, but the map design is very well done, which makes it more bearable. If you remember, when we talked about Shadows Awakening, I mentioned how the maps are obviously not designed around the old school modes. However, in this game, you can clearly tell it's designed around this philosophy. Even though you don't know what exactly you need to do, or where you need to go, you'll figure it out by just exploring the map. It never got boring, and I rarely went in circles around the map before I stumble upon the item I need to progress further. The only thing I didn't like that much is how the game respawns some enemies. For example, I would clean this area of enemies completely, and when I came back after a while, after exploring the other side of the map, the enemies would respawn. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it feels very cheap. The boss fights are kinda weak in this game because they're usually not that interesting to fight. They just have a ton of health and they fight like a buffed up version of regular enemies. Some of them are unique, but fighting them never felt that good. It's just a bunch of moving out of the way and trying to land a hit on them. Wait a minute, that sounds a lot like modern Souls-like games, does it? I didn't hate the boss fights though, I just think they're not the best part about this game. Overall, I love this game and I can't wait to replay it with some other character. Number 1. Silverfall. Silverfall is an action RPG released in 2007. I think this is one of the most requested games in the comments of my previous videos. After playing this game for a while, I can see why people wanted me to cover it. It's a pretty enjoyable RPG, although very flawed in certain areas. First of all, this game doesn't really run all that well on modern PCs, well, at least not on mine. Choosing the settings for the game is done by running the external program, which is completely messed up if your desktop resolution is full HD or higher than that. But no matter which setting I selected, the game just runs like crap. It will frequently drop to 30 FPS or even below that. These are not just frame drops, it's almost the average FPS I had throughout the entire game. To be honest, it didn't bother me that much because the gameplay in Silverfall is pretty slow, it's not skill based. Although it's still kinda annoying because you would expect this old game to run properly on modern PCs, when it comes to the FPS at least. Another technical issue on modern PCs is the resolution, or the UI scaling to be more precise. Everything is very small on Full HD or higher resolutions, so I recommend downloading the mod to fix that. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable and easier to read. Despite all those technical issues, I have to say that I absolutely love this game. Silverfall didn't age all that well when it comes to graphics, and to make things worse, it doesn't run that great, like I said before. The game mixes fantasy and some steampunk elements, which works pretty well. When you start the game, you have the option to make your character. There are different races to pick and some light character customization. The tutorial for the game is a crucial part of the story, so I wouldn't recommend skipping it, even though it's kinda annoying with all the walls of text. The city of Silverfall has been attacked by some undead creatures, and you take the control of an archmage who is trying to defend the city. That's just in the tutorial, and shortly after this you get to control the character you created. Your task is to look for supplies outside of the city and help the refugee camp. The daughter of the Archmage, Kara, is one of the main characters, and most of the main quests are revolved around her. The game doesn't waste a lot of your time on the introduction, and the quests are pretty simple in general. There is a nice morality system, which seems to slightly affect the story, and some gameplay elements as well. Technology and nature are two options you have, and selecting different dialogue options will affect this bar. There are certain items that will require you to have a technology or nature points, and you also get unique skills to learn, depending on the stats. I was kinda surprised how well this system works. It makes the dialogue a lot more interesting, and it also affects the gameplay in a way. Speaking of dialogue, the writing is decent, although the story itself is very simple and not very interesting. It lacks proper plot twists and memorable characters. When it comes to the gameplay, Silverfall plays like a simplified CRPG with real-time combat. You only control one character, but you'll be able to have a couple of followers. I only figured this out after a couple of hours of gameplay, because in order to recruit some of the followers, you need to do their side quest. The side quests didn't seem that interesting to me, so I ignored most of them. By the way, that's not a great idea, because you can easily hit a brick wall if you just follow the main quest. The game doesn't play around, you can easily die in combat if you're undergeared or underleveled. There is some level scaling in Silverfall, but different areas will have certain level cap for enemies, which means that you can encounter some very high level enemies that can easily kill you. Doing side quests, exploring the map and killing some more enemies is kinda necessary. You could say the game requires some amount of grinding, but the gameplay is pretty fun and simple, so I don't have any problems with this. And if I'm not mistaken, the level scaling used to be way worse in the original game, before the quality of life improvements in the complete version. Even though you can get a couple of followers, you can only control the character you made. The followers will automatically do their thing, although you can talk with them and give them a couple of different commands and customize their gear. You control your character with WASD movement keys or by point and click. The camera controls are a bit obnoxious, and moving your character on the map can be very frustrating. That's because the collision in this game is terrible. You can easily get stuck on the terrain. In moments like this, which are plenty of throughout the whole game, Silverfall feels extremely unpolished. Moving your character on the map should never feel this bad in a game. Speaking of the map, you're going to visit a lot of different looking zones. Silverfall looks pretty bad in certain areas, even for a 2007 game. The level of detail in these areas is very low, but all of the zones have a very nice vibe to them. As you would expect, there's a ton of items of different quality to loot. Killing stronger enemies is almost always rewarding because they seem to have a high chance for a good item drop, especially elite enemies and bosses. The crafting in this game is very good as well. You can invest some points into crafting skill and get a lot of options to customize the item you want to make. The materials you need are easy to acquire because almost every single enemy will drop something. The combat itself is very simple but very fun. I invested a lot of points into melee skills, while I had one of my followers to kill me and another one to deal some ranged damage. You can build your character as a tank, and some skills will support that playstyle, but I wanted to focus more on dealing damage. Whatever you do as a melee character, you will need to invest some points into defensive skills. The thing is, if your main character dies in combat, your whole party is instantly dead. However, there is no game over screen, you just get to respawn in the last place you visit. Enemies you kill will remain dead, but if you are killed by a boss, he will completely regenerate. NPCs do respawn though, but only if you use the fast travel option or if you reload the game. I think the challenge in the game was decent on normal difficulty, even though I'm not so crazy about level scaling in games. The level scaling is not nearly as aggressive like in some other RPGs, and the progression system is pretty good in Silverfall. You will instantly notice the difference once you find or craft a stronger item, and acquiring new skills give you a similar feeling. Silverfall Earth Awakening can be purchased as a standalone game, but it's more like an expansion pack for the original game. This version of the game introduces some notable quality of life improvements like the brand new UI, a couple of new playable races, and of course new content. I believe that most of these improvements are included in the base game as well, in the complete version I mean. When you start the game, you get the option to play as a level 1 character or make a level 45 character, so you can start Earth Awakening right away. But if you complete the base game, you can just continue the expansion with the existing character. I still have to complete this expansion, so I didn't form a complete opinion about it. I'm enjoying it so far, but that's because I like the base game despite all of its flaws. Silverfall can feel very rough around the edges, to put it lightly, but I would still recommend trying it out if you like these types of games. The gameplay is simplistic, but it doesn't lack the depth. You can get a lot of hours of fun if you can tolerate all the issues I mentioned. You can grab the complete bundle on GOG with the base game and the expansion for around $10. I'll have GOG links in the description. And those will be all the games for this episode.
This is very confusing.
Tell me which game you think is the best and would you try playing some of them? Leave a comment down below. I'll have some GOG links for these games, so if you decide to buy some of them, I'll get a small contribution. And here we are in 7th episode of Hidden Gems of Trash.
I read the script, and I know we get past this. It's just a matter of time.
A series of videos where I explore some forgotten RPGs and action adventures, and where I try my best to give you a mini review or preview for each and every one of them. If this is your first time watching, I highly suggest watching the previous episodes first, but there is nothing wrong with starting with this one as well. Although you might miss out on some inside memes and jokes.
Enough, I'm not here for sex.
You're not? But I was told you were coming.
Yo, what up guys? This is not a sponsor, so don't worry. Well, I guess I'm the sponsor. I'm just here to tell you that you can check out my store for t-shirts and hoodies, which I made recently, I guess, and I just keep adding new designs. You can find a lot of cool designs in the theme of the channel, like running memes to the channel and stuff like that, and I plan to add a lot more designs in the future, so yeah, just a quick shout out to my t-shirt and hoodie store, and of course you can always become a Patreon or a YouTube member if you want to support the channel more directly, but the most important thing is to watch the video, of course. Let me not waste any of your more time. Can't speak on the camera. Not very good at this, but yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to all the additional ways you can support the channel. That will be it. Back to the video. Number 5, Sword Coast Legends. Sword Coast Legends is a CRPG set within the universe of Forgotten Realms, a campaign setting of Dungeons & Dragons. This game came out in 2015 and after only a couple of years it got delisted. According to delistedgames.com, Dungeons & Dragons publishing contract has ended, requiring the game to be removed. That's really weird, man. Why would you only buy the license for a couple of years? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Although there is probably a lot more to this story that we don't know, but anyway, I heard about this game back in the day and I always thought it's a pretty bad RPG for some reason. Maybe because of the mediocre ratings and the poor reception, I don't know, but I never wanted to try it out. Well, after playing it for about 5 or 6 hours so far, I can say without a doubt that I was completely wrong. In fact, I'm struggling to find a reason why people didn't like this game that much. Sword Coast Legends is a CRPG, which plays very similar to games like Pillars of Eternity, Baldur's Gate or Pathfinder. However, this game is not extremely deep like those games I mentioned, but that doesn't make it bad. On the contrary, it makes it more accessible to players who want to get into this genre. D&D rules can be very overwhelming for new players, but that's not the case with this game. The only thing that can be a bit overwhelming is the beginning of the game, because you instantly get a lot of party members. All of them have more than a couple of different spells, and it won't take long until the game starts to be a bit more challenging. I played the game on normal, and it starts off really easy, but the difficulty picks up after about 40 or 50 minutes in. The character customization should be familiar. If you play RPGs and D&D games, you get several different races, classes, and the customization options are pretty good. The game is still looking pretty decent, especially if you can run it on high resolutions like 4K, and I managed to get a stable 60 FPS for the most part. There are some segments where the game looks really flat or boring, I guess, especially in the open areas, but for the most part, I like how the game looks. It's nothing amazing or anything, but it's more than enough for me to enjoy the game. When it comes to the story, you start the game as a member of the mercenary group called the Burning Dawn. Burning Dawn has a rich history, which is somehow connected to the strange nightmares you and your party members have. The Burning Dawn is hired to escort a caravan from Neverwinter to the city of Luskan, and this is where the game begins. You start clearing the area of bandits, and the main story of the game quickly picks up. It doesn't take long for some significant things to happen, which I found quite interesting, mainly because most of the characters are decently written and voice acted.
I assume you're with that halfling that came through here. I have never seen such anger. Not since I raised Kipper Harple's old cat from the dead.
There are a bunch of dialogue interactions with RPG skill checks and actual gameplay consequences. So yeah, pretty much everything you will want to see in a game like this is there.
You have come.
Enough. I'm not here for sex.
The gameplay mechanics are also fun to play around with, and you will have to do some micromanagement in fights, even on the normal difficulty. The party AI is pretty good, so the characters you're not directly controlling at the moment will cast appropriate spells for the most part. But if you like these kinds of games, I'm pretty sure you will want to make those kinds of decisions yourself. This is a real-time combat RPG with pause menu, which you'll use a lot. It's very easy to tell the characters what to do, and controlling them is very responsive. They won't always instantly do what you want, but it's not a huge deal. The animations are decent at best, but it's serviceable for this kind of a game. There is a very simple gore effect in combat, which can turn some enemies into chunks of meat upon death, which looks a bit stupid, but I can appreciate that. However, compared to how the combat looks in similar modern CRPGs, this game is pretty basic. And I guess that's one of the reasons why the game got such poor receptions, along with the fact that it's not very deep, like I said before. I mean, not extremely deep for D&D standards. The speed of the combat is okay, but I would like to have an option to speed up or slow down the gameplay like in most modern CRPGs. The only notable problem that I had with the gameplay so far is the poor quest design in some cases. Some of the quests can feel like the game is trying to artificially extend the playtime. For example, before you enter the city of Luskan, you will need to explore the sewer system and do some quests there. The level design is okay, but some of the quests make you run back and forth for seemingly no reason. On the other side, it seems like the quests can be done in multiple ways if you know where to look or what to look for. The dialogue itself is well written, and the main story is interesting enough to keep you progressing through the game. And the actual progression system is decent. It pretty much encourages you to invest points into multiple skill trees. So it's not like the game doesn't have any depth, it's just not as deep as some modern CRPGs. My main character was a two-handed warrior, because of course he was. Your party members are very balanced from the very beginning, but you will meet other characters as you play, and you can manage your party members in the camp. So it seems like you can definitely have some nice flexibility with the party management. I still didn't finish the game, but I enjoyed it quite a bit so far. If you could actually get this game today, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like CRPGs with some light D&D rules. But you know, you can actually get the game if you try hard enough. Or should I say, hard enough, matey. Number 4, Blood Knights. Blood Knights is an isometric action RPG released in 2013 for PC, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This game was developed by Deck 13 and is the first and the last time they tried to make a game of this type. The reception for this game was not that good, especially on Xbox. It has somewhat better score on PC and PlayStation 3 and it's currently mixed on Steam. After completing this game, I would say it deserves at least a little bit higher scores than that, I guess.
You must be out of your mind.
I went into this game with very low expectations and I thought I'm not going to like it all that much. It took me just a little bit over 4 hours to completely beat it, and that's one of the reasons why I did like this game. It definitely doesn't overstay its welcome.
Now I do see the fun.
It's a pretty linear action RPG with a decent fast-paced action combat, local co-op play, some platforming sections, light itemization and progression system. Blood Knights is also a story-driven RPG with a lot of cutscenes and a couple of dialogue choices that don't seem to affect the game that much. This is undoubtedly the worst part of the game and possibly one of the main reasons for such awful review scores. The story is so bad that it's actually good in a way, or entertaining would be a better way to describe it.
See the town? Seeing is done with the eyes. Always remember that.
You play as a guy called Jeremy, who is trying to protect a powerful artifact from being captured by the vampires. Jeremy was bound to a vampire because reasons, and shortly after this he turns into a vampire himself. The priest and the Holy Order then try to kill him and his companion, but of course they survive. Then you spend the rest of the game trying to prove yourself to the priest that you're not working for the vampires. But in order to do so, you'll need to retrieve the blood seal that the vampire stole. There are a couple of important characters in the story, but it's pretty damn awful, so I didn't even bother with remembering their names.
What a shame. It was so lovely when we... Anyway, time for me to go. Down. Follow me, Jeremy. If the Lord lets you, the strongest will have me.
I completed this game and I still don't know the name of the second protagonist. And I'm pretty sure her name is only mentioned once in the entire game, but I might be wrong since I didn't pay that much attention. On the bright side, the technical state of the game is very good. I managed to run it with no issues on the highest settings in 4K and I didn't have any frame drops or bugs. There are some glitches with the NPCs, but that's the problem with the AI. Visually, the game is not very impressive obviously, but it's good enough for an isometric action RPG from
Kill me
2013.
instantly. Nice.
The art style is very generic with little to no visual variety when it comes to places you're going to visit throughout 7 chapters of the game. I mean, it's not horrible, but it feels
Just
very
sad.
inspiring. Surprisingly, the character models are not that bad at all. I definitely seen a lot worse than this, even in some recently released games that I covered. So what about the gameplay? Well, it's pretty decent if you ask me. You get to switch between 2 characters if you're playing solo, but you can always have a friend to join you and take the control of the second character. I completed the game in single player mode and I only played a little bit in co-op with my girlfriend. Jeremy is a melee character while Alyssa uses ranged weapons and skills. Alyssa, that's the name of the girl.
Strange name. I'll call you Liz.
Don't you dare.
Anyway, Jeremy has a couple of regular attacks that function as a combo system, along with a couple of unique
Combat
abilities.
system.
The Whirlwind is the most powerful ability you can use and abuse pretty much. There is no resource for these abilities except the cooldown, which is one of the things that makes the game play pretty fast. I played on normal, and I think the challenge on this difficulty is okay, if not a bit easy when it comes to boss fights. But that's not exactly because of the difficulty. The majority of boss fights just have one single mechanic that you have to worry about. Except the last boss, I guess, who has a couple of different phases, but he's also pretty easy. I don't believe I even died once in boss fights, and I kinda wish I played on the hard difficulty, although I doubt it would be much different. I kinda like how they did healing in this game. There are no potions that you can chug all the time like in many similar action RPGs. Instead, you have to find these corpses, or you can feed on enemies, which can be a trick in crowded fights. There is a much bigger chance for you to die in regular fights, simply because there are much more things that can kill you. Not just when it comes to actual enemies. There are traps you have to avoid, and gravity is also one of your main enemies. I think I died the most from falling off cliffs, but that's because the camera can be extremely frustrating in this game. It has a mind of its own, and you're going to experience some awful angles on some levels. Although dying is not that punishing because it instantly brings you back to the last checkpoint, which is usually pretty close and the enemies don't respawn. It truly seems like this game never wants to waste your time. You have this main quest that's very linear and pretty much no side activities at all, except for collecting the coins here and there. Switching between these 2 characters is pretty much necessary in some areas because of the light puzzle solving you have to do, but for the most part you can stick with the playstyle you prefer. I think the range combat is much easier because it takes very little effort to kite all enemies on the map and kill them with range abilities. And when you get crowded with a bunch of enemies, you can always switch to Jeremy for a quick spin to win move. Once you get the hang of all of the abilities and switching between these characters, I think the combat flows very well. It does feel a bit floaty, but it's not that bad. It's a decent hack and slash combat, which can be fun for a couple of hours, especially in co-op. But I also enjoyed it in the single player mode quite a bit, so take that as you will. The progression system on the other hand is very boring, because you only get to increase the damage of these abilities, and the itemization is very simple. Overall, I would recommend trying this game out if you like what you see.
Seeing is done with the eye. Always remember that.
Number 3. Hellgate London. Hellgate London is an action RPG originally released in 2007 on PC. Apparently, the developer of Hellgate had a lot of legal issues and the game has been re-released multiple times in the past. The current version of the game is from 2018 and it's only available on Steam. Entire quote-unquote character progression system doesn't matter at all, because the combat feels exactly the same throughout the entire game. It's almost totally pointless. It's a shame, because the presentation of the game is actually very pleasant for the eyes. The game frequently uses the shaky camera effect, which seems like someone is following these characters with a camera, and I kinda like it. Speaking about the camera, it has a mind of its own. You're technically able to control it, but there are a bunch of scenes where the camera angles change completely, which only makes controlling the character way worse. There are a lot of interactive cutscenes basically, which only require you to press one or two buttons while you're watching the game play itself. To sum it up, the Cursed Crusade has a lot of issues and questionable design decisions, but the split screen co-op makes the experience a lot more fun. The game is a product of its own time, but 2011 had much better action adventures and action RPGs, so this is not exactly a bad excuse. Should you go out your way and try to get a physical copy nowadays? Only if you're really bored.
We should have seen this coming. Sneaking in is going to be impossible. Why can't it be easy? You know, knock, somebody opens, we fight.
Number 1. Drakensag the Dark Eye. Drakensag the Dark Eye is an RPG from 2008, developed by a German studio called Redon Labs. It's definitely a game that went under the radar, and after playing it for the first time ever, I would even say that it's a real hidden gem.
Good day. What'll it be?
It reminds me a lot of Dragon Age Origins, and if you're a fan of that game, I would seriously recommend trying out Drakensag. For some reason, I was convinced that Dragon Age Origins came out before this game, but that's not true.
You skipped me way back, and we're done with this video. You skipped me back, and I don't know why YouTube did that, but it fucked up your video, and I'm terribly sorry. Let's hear Lone Vault Wanderer. This came out 7 minutes ago.
Hey everybody, today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to have any gameplay or cutaways. I just want to talk directly to the camera because this is about more of an upsetting topic. It's something that's affected me personally recently, and unfortunately it's cropped up yet again in the video games industry. And of course I am talking about redundancies. So today Riot Games announced that it's letting go about 11% of its workforce, which equates to around 530 workers or so. Now, the biggest teams that are set to be impacted by this are those outside of core development, and that's typically how these things go. So whether it's in marketing, publishing, community, perhaps even QA, it feels like those are the teams which are going to be most impacted by this. But of course, I've seen people outright within core development also get made redundant today as well. And at the very least, employees which are impacted by this are set to receive around 6 months of redundancy in addition to cash bonuses maybe. So in terms of severance packages, that is quite generous. However, of course, these people would rather keep their jobs. It's a silver lining at the end of the day. And the chief executive at Riot has called this decision one, quote, "We hoped we would never have to make," end quote, but of course, it's one that they did make. Now, I want to talk about this topic because again, it's affected me personally in one way. I was made redundant recently, and though it wasn't in the games industry, it was still in a similar industry, media and publishing, who was going through a very comparable thing over the past year. A lot of redundancies, a lot of companies scaling down their teams, etc., right? And I've seen people that I used to work with, I've seen friends of mine over the past year get made redundant. So it is affecting me in many ways. So I just have a lot of thoughts, and this is not going to be a rant video. This is not going to be one where I just get angry at people. I just want to share my feelings because whenever things like this crop up, I always go to my head, could I ever see myself working in games again? You know, if you don't know, I used to work at Bethesda for almost 4 years. And when I got made redundant, one of my first thoughts were, well, should I go back into games? Should I try and become a community manager again? Should I get into marketing or what have you? And when things like this happen, it affects my decision-making process. There's a reason I decided to do YouTube full-time. There's a reason why I went in a different direction and didn't just jump back into the games industry. And there were interview processes that I went through. There were jobs that were close to being on the table that I decided not to take because of things like this. So before I get into those thoughts, I do want to rattle off some stats for you to kind of give you a sense of the scale of the issue that we're talking about, specifically just within video games. Of course, it's bigger than that, again, in media, publishing, tech, whatever, but just about video games. Since January 2023, we've seen more than 10,000 video game workers being made redundant, right? Now, 2023 saw at least 6,500 of those redundancies, but that's a conservative estimate. It's probably much more than that. The sources are in the description below. And then in 2024 so far, we've already seen a third of what we saw in 2023. And we're only in January. We just started the year. It's barely got going. And we're already seeing all these redundancies. So in 2023, we saw companies like Unity, 343 Studios, EA, Amazon Game Studios, Relic Games, Niantic, CD Projekt Red, Volition, Epic Games, Bungie, Ubisoft, etc., etc. Those are just the big ones. And in 2024 alone, again, we're barely a month in, we have companies like Bossa Studios, Unity again, Twitch and Discord, which is not quite games, but it's adjacent, Lost Boys Interactive, NetSpeak Games, Behavior Interactive, CI Games, 31st Union, Riot Games, as we mentioned, and so on and so forth. And recently as well, there was a games industry report by GDC who surveyed more than 3,000 games developers, and they reported about 1/3 of them experienced layoffs in some way, whether it was them being laid off themselves or their colleagues or people in other departments or other teams. About 1/3 of them experienced layoffs in some sort of way, which is a lot. 1/3 of an entire survey of more than 3,000 people in that industry is a lot. And there has been a lot of discussions about this recently, even before the Riot Games announcement occurred. So there was a great gamesindustry.biz article. Again, I'll link it in the description below. And there are games industry leaders saying that we're going to see this stuff happen well into 2025. Like, it's certainly not over yet, as we've seen this year so far. And there was one CEO of a public company that told gamesindustry.biz that, quote, if 2023 was the year of layoffs, 2024 will be the year of closures. Not just for developers, but publishers, media, service companies. There are just too many unprofitable businesses in video games. We're looking at up to 2 years of pain. And the reasons that were listed in that article for why this is happening, there's of course many. This is a very complicated issue, but high interest rates, oversaturation of projects, cautious investors, like we've seen that with Embracer Group.
Bad
they lost
leadership.
a $2 billion deal or whatever. And because of that, bunch of redundancies after that, right? So those are just some of the reasons. So let's get into the talking points that I have for today. First of all, this is another reason, but of course I recognize that this is a course correction from the days of COVID. You know, when COVID was happening, when everyone was stuck at home and many more people were playing video games because that's all we could really do at the time, right? There was huge overhiring in the video games industry. Well, at the time, it wasn't considered overhiring. What teams were doing and companies were doing were just trying to meet demand, trying to maintain servers, trying to keep up with the content, trying to be competitive with other companies that were also benefiting from everyone being at home playing video games, right? So a lot of hiring occurred, especially in the early days of COVID. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, we were in a completely opposite state. There was an abundance of video games jobs going up for hiring. There were so many. No one had any issues at all getting a job. In fact, many developers I saw were frequently jumping from job to try and get pay rises because it was so much easier to get a job. And now, obviously, since COVID has let up and people are outside and not playing games as much as they used to, companies are being left with a lot of people that they've hired and not the demand to meet that. So they've scaled down their teams a lot. There's been a lot of redundancies. So I'm aware that there is a lot of course correction happening because of COVID. It doesn't justify it, but I understand that that's a reality. Now, at the end of the day, I want to say this.
Warp drive
This is very upsetting, no matter how you look at it, especially when you look at the past year of video games that we've just had. Arguably one of the best ever. In terms of the number of great, amazing games that were released in 2023 alone, that was probably one of the best years of video games that we've ever seen, because there were Game of the Year contenders across the board. It was an incredible year for video game releases. You know, Zelda, Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man, etc. Baldur's Gate 3. So many amazing games. So many, right? And it's very difficult to celebrate such a great year of video games when we're seeing people get made redundant left, right, and center. When we're seeing people made redundant from the teams that worked on those games, from the teams that helped generate the success those games had, we're seeing those people also get made redundant. And of course, from many other companies as well. It's very difficult to celebrate the games industry and talk about games you love when you're also seeing game developers, get let go. It sucks. There's no other way to justify it. It's very difficult to reconcile those two things. So it sucks. It sucks like trying to sit here with my channel talking about how excited I am for this company and for this game coming out, etc., when this is also happening simultaneously. It needs to be recognized and talked about. It's difficult to say 2023 was one of the greatest years, if not the greatest years for video games as a whole, when over 6,500 people were made redundant. Like, I don't think you can make that claim because of that reality. And the thing that upsets me the most about this is, of course, not just people getting made redundant and struggling to pay off their bills and support their families. Number one, that's the priority, right? But also as well, we need to be cognizant of the fact that not everyone here is getting rehired. It's physically impossible. Like, over 10,000 people getting made redundant. Of course, some of them will find jobs somewhere. Of course, some of them will find full-time, part-time, maybe freelancing jobs. Some of these people will be fine. But not everyone.
Thank you, Steak and Eggs. I'd like to sub to your channel. Thank you, Lone Wanderer. I'd like to sub to your channel for. Thank you for the excellent content for my stream. Yep, I got him. And then thank you, Steak and Eggs Podcast. I'd like to sub to your channel.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 42 of Steak and Eggs. We're back. We took a break and then we took an even longer break because the entire production staff got COVID, unfortunately. But everyone is okay now, so we're back in the studio, ready to catch up on what we were doing while we weren't filming and what is going on now. So, what's up?
I was miserable.
Y'all?
3 weeks, no steak and eggs. It was my favorite part of the week, every week.
He was crying in the group chat. He was like begging. He was like, please, I need this.
Yeah.
Maybe we go over to somebody's house or something, like we record something else and like, oh yeah, dude, that'd be great.
It almost worked.
Yeah?
Yeah. The good news is you're playing Monster Hunter now.
I am.
And then, Emmy, you're going to play Monster Hunter.
Yep, when I'm done with Elden Ring.
And just so everybody knows, these are for you guys, okay? So the Naga Kuga's for Emmy. Okay. So you're going to love that one. And the set that goes with it is sick as fuck. And the Brachydios is for you.
Why'd you give me him?
Because he's cool.
Did you hear me talk about how I hate him more than anyone else?
Did you really?
Yeah. So much. He's so annoying.
He's cool,
oh my god,
man.
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, how far have you beaten a game?
No.
Like, okay, so how far did you get?
So my first playthrough for 3 Ultimate was always co-op. For Rise was majorly co-op. I did a solo playthrough up to Magnum Allo, which is like beating base game, not till Sunbreak. And then Iceborne, I beat base game, and then I've only co-opted Iceborne. So now I'm doing my first solo playthrough of Iceborne, and I stopped at Velkhana.
Right.
Yeah, so...
I almost stopped at Velkhana, too. I had a very bad time there. Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Not really. I mean, I was just, I didn't get enough, like, for me, like, not getting enough sleep is, like, a huge debuff.
Yeah.
I just didn't get enough sleep. I was agitated, and so I just fucked up.
Yeah.
And it took me, like I died on her, like, 4 times or something like that.
Oh, what I also realized is I didn't know that there was a Divine Protection necklace.
It's a really good one.
It's a really good one. So, in case you don't know what Divine Protection is, I mean, there's a necklace that's in the game that you can get at any time, where every single time you get hit, you have a 30% or like a certain amount of chance to reduce damage taken by 30% at level 3. I didn't know that was a thing. So people were like, oh yeah, Asmon's struggling on this shit because he didn't have DP. And I'm like, what's DP? Like Divine Protection. I'm like, what the fuck is Divine Protection? So I'm using that shit now. Thank fucking God. Super good. And I think I'm right before Velkhana. And I've also learned that I was playing my class very, 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 like, what's the word? Like, drag-like, like an idiot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Drag-like. Okay.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
So, like, when you have a move and you charge it to its max, you would assume that's the best version of that move, is what I would assume.
Oh, like you weren't letting go at the timing?
Yeah, so like it goes charge 1, charge 2, charge 3. I was
Right.
like, okay, let go at charge 3, that's the best. Apparently charge 2 is like OP as fuck.
For what weapon?
For hammer.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
about hammer.
Yeah, so
I only know greatsword.
it's like, I am like, you probably don't move at all. You were probably slow as fuck because you're greatsword. Would you,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't do anything. I just sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With charge 2 hammer, you just uppercut him, roll. Uppercut him, roll. It's like you cannot be touched.
Really?
Yes, every single fight I've fought, since I learned how to uppercut, I have never carded, barely getting touched.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I don't get my ass whipped on Velkhana. Because
Yeah.
I just did the demo fight of Velkhana.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how much different that is than the big boy version.
It's a little bit different. I mean, not a whole lot more, but it's a bit different. Yeah.
Okay.
1,500
Who's your favorite
pounds
monster so far?
of stuff.
I don't know. What is my favorite boss?
I've heard you liked the Diabolos fight.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. That's another one that I hated.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
it was Nerd Gigante.
Yeah, Nergante is probably
Yeah,
the best one.
Nergi.
Yeah.
He's sick.
He is. I mean, like I've enjoyed playing it. I've put, I think, 100. Like, when did I start playing? Like maybe 10 days ago.
Yeah.
I've put 130 hours into the game.
That's insane.
What?
That's right.
10 days ago?
Yes. And
Holy
so I've
shit.
been
That's fucking
I've been
nuts.
playing it a lot.
That's insane.
Yeah, been
Yeah.
playing it a lot, and it's been good. I've really enjoyed it a lot. It's been really fun. But you should play it.
Yeah, I plan to after I finish Elden Ring. I'm doing my first time playthrough right
2 months.
I think
now.
I'm
Not
in
2
like,
months, like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
I'm halfway through the game. Well, halfway through the required content anyway.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Because Millennia is like, that's
What?
gonna take you like a whole week.
You think
I
so?
don't think it's
Oh.
gonna be. It's not.
A whole week, Millennia took me an hour. It took me like an hour. I cleared that in like 2 hours. What are you talking about?
That bad. Like, I beat it in a few hours. It was what
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, but I beat that in a couple of hours. What are you talking about?
How many is a few hours for you?
Like 4 hours max. It was like 4 hours max. I died on it for like 45 minutes, and then I just beat it solo.
3?
3? Okay, it took me like 8.5.
I remember. I watched it.
Yeah, that shit was
I
miserable.
mean, 8.5. That's still like one stream.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
if you really
long
sit there.
time.
What? What?
that's how long it took me to beat it. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
I don't know how long it's gonna take you to beat it.
Dude, you gave up on Sekiro. Don't be
No,
fucking talking to me about that
I'm
shit.
not saying,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
did.
saying- no, I'm
True.
not saying that I'm better. I'm just saying, we all take different times.
Right.
Also, I could have beat Sekiro, but that's when Hawkeye Star Rail came out. That's the only reason why I dropped the game.
Oh, whatever, dude.
I can-
Oh, wow.
I beat the boss that you quit on in
Putting
like 2
Sekiro
hours.
to play Honkai Star Rail.
And it was
Yeah.
the best decision I ever made.
Wow.
I can go back and beat that game any fucking
You should.
time.
It's good.
Yeah.
I could literally go back and beat that shit in less than a fucking week, easily. I would demolish it. There'd be no problem. Genichiro would be a fucking bitch. Just being 100% honest. But I have other things I need to do, because I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter World until I beat it, and then Persona 3, and then I'll get back to Sekiro, and then probably Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. Solid
So
list.
how's Elden Ring been?
Well, the first day
Sekiro.
I tried to play it like Souls. I got it to Margit pretty quickly, and I was like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is, even though I do 80 damage per hit to this guy, I'm just gonna keep hitting my head against him until I eventually beat him.
Did you?
No, and then after I think 5 hours maybe, I was like, okay, you know what, chat, you're right. I'm gonna start exploring and look at some of the other bosses. And then I came back, killed him in 2 or 3 tries, and then ever since then it's been fine. I've been having a good time. It's fun.
Good.
Well, it was so bad that first day that you changed the entire structure of the bet you had with chat.
No, okay, well, it wasn't because of that. So originally, I was saying,
80
okay, I want
hours.
to beat the game in 100 hours, and chat was like, 100's
right.
pretty generous, because you're probably not going to want to do, like, all the caves and side things. And I was like, okay, 80.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, but if I have a time constriction, then I might feel like I have to skip a lot of stuff to beat it. So I changed it to beat it by the end of the month, because that way, if I want to do more, that just means I have to stream more.
So how have you liked it compared to like Dark Souls and everything?
I feel like it's way easier than Dark Souls.
Really?
Yeah, but I actually
It
think
is.
I do
It's
like
way
it more.
easier.
I didn't think I was gonna like it being open world because I'm not really like an exploring kind of person on stream as much.
Yeah.
But I think I like it more.
I think it's really good. I think you just haven't gotten to the hard parts yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Margit is really hard. I would say Margit is the hardest
I
first
beat
boss
Margit?
Margit
they've
and
ever had.
Margot.
Morgoth, yeah.
Morgoth.
I'm sorry, Morgoth. Morgoth is hard. Margit is not hard.
Well, that's because he's bullshit.
Morgoth?
He's bullshit because he does the fucking
Yes.
delay attacks. Which
Well,
is
there's
super
a lot of them
unnatural.
do that.
Like,
Yeah,
super
there's a
unnatural.
lot that have super delayed attacks that
Yeah,
feels
it's really
like
annoying.
very
I don't like it.
unintuitive.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because like I
Yeah.
like when it's like for example, Glavenus is a perfect fighting monster in the world because everything he does you can see coming 10,000 miles in advance.
Yeah.
Which is how,
Well, I mean, it's kind of nice too, because then for like each boss, you have to learn it. Because like in Souls, it'd be like, okay, they're raising their arm. When they're at the top, it's either right away or like 1 second, right?
Yeah.
But then Elden Ring sometimes it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So like,
Yep.
each one you have to learn. I mean, I think
bitched
that's
about
kind of
that
nice.
so much. It's so stupid,
Yeah.
man. But other than that, it's a great game. Also, just want to talk about before I forget,
Yeah.
and I want to come back to Elden Ring and Monster Hunter World. Emmy,
I don't like Tectone.
you know that Asmund has a daughter?
Oh my
He has a
god.
daughter.
Have you heard about
Oh
this?
wait, that little VTuber.
Yeah,
I know. I saw that on my Twitter feed.
yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Why? What about it?
Well, I reached out to her.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna play Fortnite soon.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Yep, you know,
god.
and she doesn't speak English, right?
Not really.
So I have my buddy.
I'll be right
back. I gotta get
ice.
He speaks English and Japanese. His name's Lord Aethelstan.
Right?
He's gonna translate so we can play Fortnite.
Oh my
Why are you
god.
playing Fortnite with Asmund's daughter?
Because she needs
Why
friends,
not?
man.
You know, why not? Yeah. No, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if she's better than you. It's gonna be fucking funny,
Oh my
man.
god.
So how does that feel? Because you were like kind of responsible for like you like made her. Not you wouldn't say that ever.
Yeah.
But like you gave a VTuber a career. Now you're her
no,
dad.
I mean, I mean, like sometimes I just I pulled her up. So basically, what happened was it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I just like randomly saw a streamer on. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was on like I think it was the Genshin Impact section,
Yeah.
and like I saw her there, and then it was like the model was so like just cute and just non aggressive. It was just this cute little cat girl. Like basically imagine Hello Kitty, but a more of a girl than a kitty.
Yep.
And I was like, this is amazing. And so then she said like Asmon-san, and she like recognized me. And I just totally fucking lost it. I was like, I can't believe this. Like, what the fuck? And it just happened. And apparently it got uploaded onto YouTube, and it got, you know, a ton of views, and people just loved it.
As someone pop up.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, it just happened. And it was just like, it was kind of crazy for me because like, you know, usually it was a bit of a reality check. I'm going to be totally real. Because like every time that I ever do that with somebody, usually it's like they ship you together. Like, oh, you
fuck
should
that.
talk to her, right?
Yeah.
But I'm old enough now to where I got shipped as her dad. Oh, fuck. Yeah, it was a bit of a reality check, you know? Bit of a reality check. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
about
even
right.
think about that. Oh man,
Yep.
that is fucked.
That's
up,
right.
Dude.
That's right. And so, yeah, I mean,
Oh, boy.
she's been streaming, and she had like, I mean, she's had over 1,000 viewers before, and I think that's incredible.
You need to take her out on a play date.
Oh, really?
You know, like take her to the jungle gym or something.
Oh, like the monkey bars or some
Yeah,
shit?
monkey bars. You, ever,
Oh my
you know,
God.
you know what a mute stream is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh yeah, green screen her on your
Yeah,
stream.
green screen on,
yeah,
have
yeah,
your
yeah.
little cat girl.
Oh
Yeah.
my fucking
Yeah.
Next time you
God.
pull in Hawkeye Star Rail, you can have her as your little mascot.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think she plays that game too, actually.
Okay, actually cool, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, have you been following Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero?
I have been like kind of like I saw there was this new Arknight games that came.
Arknight's on field.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I
have
haven't
you
been
seen it?
following gotcha games at all since I started playing WoW, and you know what? I think it's been good for me.
Yeah.
Insane.
Me
I
too.
feel like very mentally
Yep.
stable.
I'm proud
Oh,
of you.
I don't know about
Thank
that.
you.
I mean, like, haven't you made like half of your stream titles? I'm going insane.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but that's like me like expressing myself, like to like get it out.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Dude, I have not seen you live in forever.
I literally streamed yesterday.
I know.
Yeah.
It's my fault. 'Cause, like,
Oh yeah, you wake up hella early
I wake
now,
up
huh?
at 6 a.m. now.
That is insane to me.
No, it's awesome.
What's that like?
Oh, it's incredible.
Really?
Yeah, I go to sleep every day at 10. I wake up at 6. First thing I do, I wake up.
10 to 6?
I eat a salad.
Yeah.
Then I watch
That's 6 in
one
the
episode.
morning?
I let myself one episode of either Better Call Saul or an anime. Then I go live at 7 or 8.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's kind of thing I do. I'm not a hater. Now I must go to someplace lower, like Cutlass Keys, and we'll go here.
And then the moment you go live, I end stream, raid you, and then I go to the fucking gym.
Yeah.
When you're on, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Go to the gym, work out for like 2.5, 3 hours.
3 hours, dang. Wait, what do you do?
I'm fucking around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I'm lifting for like,
I get that.
Yeah, I'm lifting for like 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
then I cardio for 30 minutes.
That's chill. Just sitting on your phone at the gym.
100%. And then I play TFT because I work out with my boys, like, you know, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Bryce. Even Cinna sometimes, too.
I saw Jimmy at the gym the other day.
Yeah. Cinna, too. And then we play TFT while we're on the cardio machine together. And then I look at old man dicks, which is great.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, they're still there.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about that.
Yeah, go to the locker room to the big old floppy dicks.
So waking up at 6 in the morning, that's crazy. Like for me, I always just end up staying up later. Like that's what I always do.
He does the full cycle.
I stay up later and later and later until I stay up early.
Yep,
Well, I mean,
that's what I do too.
A long time ago, I was waiting for you to fuck up your schedule.
Yeah.
And you're just not doing it.
Oh, I will.
I will.
It
I will.
will happen.
Do you know how long it's been since you fixed your schedule?
No.
I've been counting that.
How long?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
you're supposed
about time.
Damn, you're on top of it.
Yeah. You're supposed to be a nighttime streamer, Asmund, and you're not a nighttime streamer anymore, man. You're midday.
I know, yeah. Well, I used to be morning. I remember, that's what Nick said. I told Nick, I'm like, man, yeah, sorry I'm streaming your slot. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We both know it won't last.
Did you see someone on Reddit made like a graph that was like how many times each person in OTK's rated each other? Have you seen that?
Nick.
Oh yeah, he said, Asmund said, I feel bad for Nick, and Nick was like, I'm fine, just stay out of my time slot.
Well, because Nick never gets hosted, and like the only person who would host Nick, because I looked at I hosted Nick like every day because I felt like any time that I stream until 8 in the morning all night, it's like there's like never a time that Nick is gonna get hosted by anybody else. So I would always host them, and that's what it was.
I feel like it's a blessing. I do. I genuinely like you're in a time slot that's completely uncontested. That's even better than being hosted, to be honest.
Nick's been killing it. He's been doing the GTRP, which I'm so glad I didn't try that. It's just not my thing. I don't know. I've watched a bit of it, and I don't know. It just seems exhausting.
I mean, some looks really fun, but like when you get into GTRP, which is such a top-heavy category, you have to stream for so fucking long. I'm not doing that anymore.
His fan's been streaming like 14 hours a day, every single day.
Fucking insane.
He sleeps like 5 hours a night, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I genuinely don't envy that at all. I feel great that he's killing it, but like, that lifestyle, bro, I just can't do it anymore, man. I'm good. I don't want to grind, at least not for a while. Hardcore WoW fucking killed me. That shit was miserable.
Me too.
Oh my god, yes. 14 hours of fucking WoW.
14 hours of fucking WoW killed me. I did it for like 5 weeks or something like that. It fucking sucked. I have not touched it in like 5 days. I am so happy I don't have to do that anymore.
Holy shit. And also, you can't die in WoW. Holy fuck, that was
That's why I didn't do it. I knew what it was. I was like,
I know I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. I died 20 times. No, it was like 17 times or something in hardcore. I died like 17 times. All level 20. All AFK. Maybe 5 of them I was paying attention, and it was still like one of them I got erased because my pickpocket failed, and I was like, no, I'm never doing this again. Never again.
I did it, but I'm so glad it's over.
Oh, also, I need to make sure, just because I'm not sure if any of your chat's helping you out. Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
You have your armor and power charms.
Right.
And your armor and power talents.
Well, talents, they're like decorations, right?
No, the
Like
talons are you kill the basil goose, and then you form the charms into another talon, so you get double armor and double strength.
Oh yeah, I have all 4.
Okay, and then
Yeah,
you have
thank
your
you.
you have your temporal mantle.
I do. I don't use it.
You should.
Yeah, is it that good?
Oh, so easy.
Oh wow.
Oh my god,
Oh,
it's
wow.
so easy. You free dodge 5 abilities, and there's also Rocksteady mantle.
I got that one. Yeah.
Holy fuck, you got Rocksteady?
Why would I not get it?
Because you need to be HR 40 to get it. You grinded HR 40? Oh my god, that's miserable. I don't even have that shit yet. That's fucking nuts.
I'm like HR like 70 or 80.
Okay, so now I get how you have 130 hours. Because I'm right before Velcana. I've only been playing for 30 hours.
Have you been playing off stream? Oh.
You have to for that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's so much
there's
grinding.
like boring grinding.
Well, I mean,
Well, I just play off stream. I think it's fun, right? I mean, and that's
That's interesting because I feel like most of those games that are like progression games, if you stream it off stream, it like kind of kills the like experience for the viewer. But is that one different?
what
or do
I
you
usually
do. That?
do. It's like what I used to do is with WoW is like I would farm loot boxes off stream and then I would open them on stream.
Yep.
And so
Oh.
like it's not exactly like that, but it's more like, okay, I'm gonna get this weapon for tomorrow, and so getting this weapon requires me killing the same mob that takes 15 minutes 7 times.
Oh,
And so
okay.
it's like,
if you co-op it,
yeah,
oh my god, it takes seconds.
really?
There's this fight, the only fight that's made me rage, and I mean really bad. Like, I would be ashamed if anybody saw this fucking VOD, was me fighting Barrioth in the arena.
Uh-huh.
Have you done that? Barrioth in the arena. It's way different than the normal fight. Barrioth in the arena.
What makes it different?
Okay, well, you can't hide. And this thing is like max aggression. Because it's pissed, because it doesn't want to be in the arena.
Yeah.
Is this game way harder than Souls games?
It has like, so this is the difference with Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is kind of like Elden Ring, where you have so many tools to solve problems.
If you just
that
use the tools,
if
you
you
can
use
do it.
all of the tools in the right way and you have all the game knowledge, you can make the game a lot easier.
Yeah.
And there's also different weapons that are like higher and lower skill cap based off of
Sounds
like, what you're
terrible
doing.
to me.
Like,
So-
if you want to beat the game, just use Longsword.
Okay.
It's free. What's it?
Yeah, apparently that one's very good.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's nothing with Sword and Shield. You're using Greatsword. That's
I
like
am.
a little bit above mid tier. It's already like a B tier weapon. So fucking slow. It's really hard to use. Like, Greatsword's really fucking hard.
It is.
Yeah. Hammer is...
I miss a lot.
So Hammer's pretty easy to use, but the problem is you have to use it against monsters in a certain way that makes it difficult because you have to hit them in the head.
Yeah.
Every hit has to be a headshot. Otherwise, you're not fucking doing anything. And so generally, with Monster Hunter, you can stay to the side of the monster to avoid being hit by, like, claw swipes or bites. But now you have to be
So
right in the danger
it's just
zone.
more in detail, basically.
Well, like,
Yeah.
so in Elden Ring and Dark Souls, there are a lot of strategies that you can just simply one-shot a boss with. Like,
Yeah.
literally kill him in 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah.
But with Monster Hunter, it doesn't work that way. So you have to have, like, it's a different set of tools that you have, and you can't just completely invalidate a fight. It's kind of more like Sekiro, where even if you have all the tools and the weapons and everything,
you still have to play it correctly.
there's only a few bosses that you can actually like 100% do. Everything else you actually have to figure it out at least half of the way.
Yeah. And game knowledge transfers over from Souls very, very easily. Like, Asmund doesn't seem like a new player. He seems like someone who's just naturally good at the game. But there are things like, for example, so Asmund just pretty much goes up and hits him, right? Because
Yeah.
it's his first time playing Monster Hunter. That's not how I play the game. So, like, for example, I start every fight, I grapple hook their face, I hit him in the face, and then I RT, which wall bangs him. Wall bangs him, sends the monster flying, hits the wall, takes 3% of their max HP. They fall on the ground, I get a burst phase. Okay, they get up, they fly in the air, then you lightning bug. That makes them crash, fall down, hit him again. And then you go on a ledge, you jump off, hit him in the head, you knock them, you knock him down again. Like, there are so many tools you can do. You can also, you can shock trap him, hit him again. You can fall trap him, hit him again. There's tons of mechanics. And then by the time they're not in rage again, you can wall bang them and do it all over again. So, like, you can unga bunga it, which is the hardest way to play Monster Hunter. But if you know what to do, it's kind of harder to learn, but it makes the fights way faster and a lot easier if you know, like, every mechanic. Because, like, you can kill them in any way, shape, or form. It's so fucking good. Like, the combat is so fucking complex. But when you see a 4-player Monster Hunter World fight, it's a joke.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Oh my god. Like, it is like, I'm not even kidding you. It is like Goku fighting like Krillin. Like, it is, there is no chance for this monster at all. It's 4 dudes that just CC him the whole fucking time. It's disgusting. Oh my god, it's so sick. It's so funny. That's how I speed up my grinding.
Really? I didn't even know. I've never played multiplayer before.
Yeah, like a 25-minute fight would last like a minute and a half if you have 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Do you
Especially
guys
if you bring
share
in sweats.
items?
What's up?
Share items?
No, you don't share anything. Like you just get all your own shit. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good for like. There are some fights that I think are really good duo. Like there's one called Behemoth. That's a really good one duo.
Yet.
And then, but like if you just bring in some sweats in, they'll obliterate that shit for you. Late game, it'll probably fall off a little bit, but for where I'm at, I can just bring in a max level hunter, and then he'll just, he'll just clap it, just like getting level boosted in Hardcore WoW.
Well, I mean, you gotta actually do the fights yourself, though, right?
Of course,
I mean,
beat it first normally, and then when you have to refarm it,
that's
then
the way
just
I
grind.
see it. It's like if I know I can beat it, like I have no problem getting carried in a game that I've already beaten before, or I know I can beat. But like, I don't want to get carried through
The
something
first
that I've never done before.
Yeah,
I did. I've been co-op twice. I beat the barrier off in the arena once. Never wanted to do it again. Just did it twice.
I haven't been
farmed it,
carried
got my
ever.
little event, got my new weapon, which looks sick.
I can't think of another time like I have not been carried maybe Rust. I would say I was carried a little bit. I just did not have the time in a shooter like all those people did. So I got carried a bit in Rust. I'd say other than that, yep.
Ooh,
cool fuck.
I was the guy carrying.
Is it actually from the
whatever game it was?
Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen the Nagakuga set?
I have. Yeah. I mean, it
So
looks
hot.
really cool.
Oh,
yeah.
you're playing a dude.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude.
What?
You gotta play as a chicken monster hunter.
Plays a girl.
It's so much better.
Plays a
Wait, why is
girl.
it better? It's because it looks better?
Oh no, oh my god, all the model sets look so good. The character, I don't know, man.
Like the armor?
Yeah, the armor looks it just looks way better.
So like, I was gonna ask, in the cosplay contests that we all hosted together, were the Monster Hunter armor sets accurate, or were some of them like stylized?
Like super accurate.
Really?
Yeah, they were very
Yeah, 'cause
accurate.
I know some like the WoW cosplays for like the girl ones will kind of make it more like stylized or like sexy. I was wondering for like the Monster Hunter
I mean,
ones.
there's probably a little bit of, creative liberty they take, right? But it was about 90-10, like 80-20, I'd say.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to make a Monster Hunter outfit sexier for like females. They're insane.
Really?
Oh my god, they're fucking lewd
What a
as shit.
surprise.
Yeah, no, they got like chainmail fishnet.
Yeah?
It's insane. It looks so fucking cool.
Female fishnet, that's so sick.
It is so fucking
I mean, look
sick.
at Street Fighter 6, right? I mean, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, they don't care at all. But no, I played it a lot. I mean, it's been really fun. I actually might go back and play Rise, like maybe afterwards. I'm gonna play Dragon's Dogma before the
Good.
second one
The
comes
first
out.
one or the second one?
First one.
First one's amazing.
Well, yeah, I want to play it before the second comes
Yeah.
out. Second one comes out in March.
I haven't played Dragon's Dogma 1, I think since I was in like high school. It's an old as fuck game, right?
It came out in 2011.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. That game is fucking hard. At least for me back then.
Oh, okay.
12 years ago, me. I mean, I was struggling to fucking so many WoW raids too that are easy as shit. So, yeah, no, that was a hard one. I also thought Witcher 3 was really hard when I was a kid, but then I played the game that's easy as fuck.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Have you played that one?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I didn't play all of it, though. I didn't finish the game.
Witcher 3 was
fucking
so
terrible.
easy, I
Isn't
quit
that
the
bad?
game.
I mean, dude, if you think Monster Hunter UI is bad,
Well, it just wasn't intuitive, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
once you understand what the logic is behind the UI, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like, doing it, it's just, like, there's a lot of stuff that's just fucking stupid with
yeah,
it.
same thing for Witcher for me.
Yeah,
Makes
okay.
no fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to play another, like, more story-based game or something like that, but I don't know yet. I think
Persona 3, what is it called? Reload's
Persona 3
coming out
Reloaded.
soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about before, that game might be too long to be a good stream
86
game.
hours.
But, I mean, it is a good one.
Yep. I would recommend that you play Persona 4 Golden instead.
Yeah?
Because that's
Oh,
like,
I'm playing that one right now.
it's
off
like the
stream.
best one.
Oh, wow.
It's really good. I'm on
Yeah.
like the second dungeon, so I'm not that far in it.
Yep.
It
Have you-
is really good.
Have you met the gay dude yet?
Ooh.
I'm on that one.
He's awesome. He's so cool. He's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
he's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Prince of Persia tomorrow. Like, the new one. Oh, my God. I'm so excited for that.
That
Like,
blows my mind.
why?
I don't know. It looks really bad.
Well, yeah.
That's like an old classic
because
game, isn't it?
you want to know why it looks really bad?
Yeah.
It's because Tectone just got done talking about whenever he was a kid, he played Witcher 3. Okay? Whenever I was a kid, I played
Prince
Super
of
Metroid.
Persia.
I played Legend of Zelda, like A Link to the Past. I played Castlevania.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, for me, whenever I see that game, it's like, oh my God, this is the same thing I used to be so into. And now it's back, right? Now it's here. So I'm super excited.
And you played Hollow Knight?
I played a bit of it. I didn't finish it. I need to.
Okay,
I will finish it.
Because that's probably the only Metroidvania I've ever really deep dived into is Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Which is super good.
Hollow
I
Knight.
feel like he should play
Fucking
Undertale.
scrub.
I mean, a stream like the Coffin of Andrew and Lele. I mean, that game, Undertale's also
That
like.
shit that video has like 1 million views.
Undertale's like a little bit edgy, but not that edgy.
No, Undertale, you could bang it out in a stream too.
Undertale's like Tumblr edgy.
Okay, so it's not edgy.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like got dark parts, but it's not like edgy.
Yeah, I
edgy.
feel like it's actually just funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's a hilarious game, and it's a game that'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh, and you will fall in love with these characters.
Well, I'm sure I'll cry in a video game.
Well, he's not gonna get the hardest fight on his first playthrough though.
It has to be the second.
I mean, he could like get to that point like off stream and then do it. I don't know.
I think a complete replaythrough is good because it's so much shorter.
That's true.
Because the original playthrough probably takes around like maybe 6 hours, and then it's supposed to be beaten 3 times. There's 3 different ways you can play it.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a shorter game, and then if you want to like do all the different routes, the other routes are shorter.
Yeah, y'all never played Armored Core 6, right?
I played
No.
it.
I didn't play it.
You didn't play
I
it?
didn't do
I
Armor
didn't
Core
play it
6.
at all.
No, I'm worried about it.
I was
Next.
playing Sekiro, and then
my God.
and then I was like, okay, I'll do Bloodborne first, and then I didn't
Yeah.
finish Bloodborne because Hardcore WoW popped off.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is like for me, like I'm playing video games
I'm
all
full
fucking
again.
day, man.
I'm
Like,
full
I
again.
am like I'll go through phases
Damn,
where
that was
like I don't
fast.
even play video games at all, except for like maybe a few hours on stream every day, and like
Oh,
that's
'cause
it.
I have
And then I'll go
2,000
through other phases where
Look at this, guys. I have 2,000 cactus flesh. Oh my god. Time to make sales. Yeah, I just kept going. Alright, go back home, but first chop this wood.
I spend a few hours every day not playing video games. And then all the rest of the time, I'm playing games. And like right now,
That's
that's
so
what I'm
sick.
doing.
I'm not in that phase. I'm literally just I play games on stream, then I don't touch them,
Really? Is that it?
and it's really good because games are
Yeah.
more fun on stream anyways. Like if I was
Yeah.
gonna play a game, I would stream it regardless.
I play the games that I want to play that I think wouldn't be good for stream off stream.
Exactly.
I'm
yeah.
playing Hollow Cure and Persona 4 off stream
How
right
far
now.
are you in Holocure now?
Okay, well, when you asked about
like,
it at
so
S-Fan's house, you said, did you beat the Halloween one? And I was like, yes. And you were like, no, you didn't. And I was like, well, is there another version of it that comes
You
later?
didn't
And
say
you were
that
like,
there was another
no.
version.
Yeah, I asked if there
No,
was.
because I asked, I said it was the nighttime, and then so she finally goes over, and like, I mean, luckily, like, I watched her do the stage, so like, I mean, basically, you know, she had me there telling her what things to pick, and
Yeah.
so she was able to beat the stage because of that. But I mean, yeah, she's still got a couple more
I'm
stages. to
on
go.
the office, the second phase
Yeah,
office
it's the
one right
second to
now.
last one.
Yeah.
I think there's a new game. It's like Hollow Cure but better.
Oh shit,
It's called
here we go
Wedding
again.
Witch.
Wedding Witch?
Oh my god.
What's that?
First of all, you should play it. I beat the whole thing in 2.5 hours. I don't know
Wow.
how. It's just like Vampire Survivors.
What's the art style?
Oh man.
it weeby?
No, it's actually really good. Full 3D models.
Oh.
And you play as this chick, and she wants to be wed, and then she wants to be ready for her husband, so she has to decide whether she needs to have big tits or a big ass, or whether she should be a
Okay.
cat girl before she gets fucked.
Why not all the above?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what you can do.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
Yeah, and as you upgrade your big boobs, like
Yeah.
bigger boobs mean you use explosion magic.
Okay.
Bigger ass means you do magic damage, and then being a furry means you summon pets.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can do all 3 of them then.
Wait,
Yep.
did you play that game? It was like a horror game where like a vampire with big boobs is chasing you around the house.
Yep, you should play that too.
I almost played that on Halloween, but I played some other horror
Dude,
game.
the lore of that game is insane.
Oh, we had the lore.
Oh my god. Like the story, like you really feel for her. Like every single time you chase her, you're like, oh my god, I get it. And then when you beat the game, you unlock the bathroom scene, you're like, oh my god, now everything comes full circle.
Now everything makes sense. Yeah.
Whatever, bro.
We need to get both you guys in the gym.
Is that right?
I go to the gym like once a week, sometimes twice.
Oh wow.
What do you do?
I do stair step and cardio, and I do Pilates, which I could do at home, and then I do like leg press stuff.
What
and
is a
that's about it.
Pilates?
That's like body weight exercises. So like things like crunches,
Those are
planking.
called Pilates?
Yeah. Or like things like squats, but not using weights.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that what that was called. That is the dumbest
Doing
word I've
it
ever heard.
at the gym's just like, I don't know, it's just like a vibe. It's like I could be doing this in my room, but here I am at the gym.
Oh, it's way better.
I do like the stair stepping machine though. I usually use that for like 30, 45 minutes.
No, so there's us. We have to do a steak and egg special of taking Asmongold to the gym.
Oh my god.
I would be down for that.
Yep.
Oh boy.
And we go to Iron Forge.
Okay.
The new gym, which by the way is fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I went there with Canute and Bryce. We wrestled.
Yeah.
That was fun
55
as
million.
fuck. Bryce is insane.
Yeah.
Like Bryce is insane. He's like 160 pounds, and he pinned Canute in like 30 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then he wrestled me, pinned me in like 2 minutes, and then the second time I figured out a strategy, and I still couldn't pin him, and then we both just kind of gave up because we were too tired. Plus, I have asthma. That shit sucks. But yeah, I mean, I am very excited for Canute and Miz and Rob because I think they have a very special gym on their hands. I think it's going to do fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
I haven't been to it yet. I want to go. Yeah, I know I talked to them a little bit about going. I'm sure I will eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canute really wants to talk to you.
I know. Yeah, he messaged me about it. He messaged me about it. I just haven't gotten back to him
Have you
yet.
seen the clip?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
the clip.
man.
Oh, God.
I fucking message him. He never responds to anything I fucking say.
Yeah, that's right. That's usually what happens.
Did you see the new drive-through clip for Canute?
No. I didn't.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't know what drive-through he's at, but he pulls up and he tries to order a cinnamon bun for his daughter, I think. And then the lady's speaking in Spanish, and he's like, "Do you speak English?" She's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Can I have a cinnamon bun?" And then she starts speaking Spanish, and he's like, "What?" And then he like asks for English, and she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Cinnamon roll?" And she's like, "We don't have cinnamon roll. Cinnamon bun? We don't have that."
What the fuck?
It's even better than the cake pop
Oh
one.
my god, I'll have to watch that. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'll send it to you later.
Did you see Miskip getting fucking obliterated in the gym?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
What happened?
So Mizkif and his massive ego decides to challenge a two-time like state champion who has 100 pounds on him to a wrestling match.
So who won?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Dude, in the clip, he like flips him around and Miz goes, "Ah!" And then he like slams him on the ground.
Jesus.
Yeah. And me and Miz will be having a wrestling match soon too.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's going to whoop my ass.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Why?
Well, he's trained.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done wrestling before. I've done a little bit. I know like the basics.
Yeah.
They taught me for like pro wrestling, but like even still, I was watching back my fight with Bryce. Well, my fight with Bryce.
Yeah.
I can't feel out where my center of gravity is anymore. So
Yeah.
I get rolled around real fucking easy.
Okay.
But it'll still be fun. Absolutely. And nobody got injured when me and Bryce wrestled as well, which is very good because almost every time I wrestle or someone wrestles me, either I get injured or they get injured.
Right.
Because it's like,
It's not good.
it's not because the people who I wrestle are like very rough, like very, 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 very fucking rough. Got way too into egos, fucking through the roof,
Yeah.
like life or death. You know, like there was this one dude we were wrestling, take him down. He goes to try to stop himself, like tries to hold himself from like I was like 240 pounds. He was
Yeah.
like 160. What do you think is gonna happen when you try to stop 400 pounds of pure force coming on the fucking ground with your fucking arm?
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking snap immediately.
Ooh.
It's just these people are fucking dumb. But I wrestled with Bryce and Canute and I realized it's about safety and about fun. So I feel like it would be absolutely fine. I think. Or we'll both get injured. And that'd be really funny because I feel like Miz deserves to get a bone broken or two. With how many
really?
bones he's broken. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Rob. Yeah, true. Remember that?
Rob, Senny, S-Fan.
Oh, I forgot all about Senny. Yeah.
Wait,
true.
when did S-Fan happen?
Well, S-Fan breaks so many bones. I figured one of them is his fault.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know?
Just throwing it
The
out
only one
there.
I remember.
It's
Oh
probably
god!
Miz.
Every time I see one of those arcade punching machines, I think of S-Fan breaking his wrist. Dude,
Oh,
that
God.
was awful. That was a terrible day.
That's why I never did that. I never did. I could see, obviously, like if you hit that as hard as you wanted, that would hurt your fucking
Well, the
hand.
problem is his wrist like slips, so I think he hit it like this or something.
Well, that's the thing,
I don't remember
right?
what
Is like you have
happened.
to have like there's like a certain type of like punching that you have to do in order to make that work. And like I didn't train doing that, but I know that you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and the other dumb thing is when people think that the arcade punch machines actually exactly equates to how strong you are.
Right.
Because it's not. Like the point of the arcade machines, I don't know which one you went to, at least the one that I go to, is like
Oh,
you're
this was in Korea.
Oh, well then shit, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
He broke his hand in Korea?
Yep.
Nice.
We had to
Oh,
take
that
him to the
sucks.
hospital in Korea.
How was the Korean hospital?
It was nice.
Oh, speaking of
It
which,
didn't cost that much.
I'm gonna go on a crazy tangent.
Okay.
Hospitals.
Yeah.
AI hospitals.
Right.
What are your guys' opinions on like? So first of all, there's the SAG-AFTRA thing that just happened with the voice actors and
Yeah.
people's getting their voices replaced with AIs. Are you guys pro AI? Are you like kind of afraid of it? Because before y'all begin, I'm very pro AI. I think it is the future. I feel like people are fighting against it.
Yeah.
You know, when people say things like, "Oh, AI is going to be taking away jobs," like fast food restaurants. Well, I feel like we'll also create opportunities for new jobs. And I think it will also advance our species as a whole, but that's my opinion. So I'm curious if you guys are for
I think
or
AI
against.
can do a lot of good things, but also a lot of bad things. But I think that a lot of the bad things like are kind of like coming forward now, but over time there will be more good things like science things, medical things, like what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think?
If you look at history, there is not a single point in the entire time of recorded history that pushing back technology and suppressing it was ever viewed as anything more than bad. So if you look at the church doing it, if you look at any sort of oppressive regime doing it, if you look at current dictatorships doing it with the internet, this has never been seen as a positive, and technology has always moved forward, and AI will be no different. AI is a great thing. I understand that people are upset that their jobs are being lost to AI, but in my opinion, the company should not be responsible for your welfare. That should be the government. So, you
I
know,
100% agree.
take up that frustration with the government. And I agree with it. You know, I'm a universal basic income enjoyer. Okay. I think this is a very important thing. I don't want to get political here, right? But like, I don't think that there needs to be any reason that you should have to like need to have a job. And I think that I actually would disagree with you that AI will introduce jobs at the same rate that it removes them.
Oh, I don't think it's the same rate at all.
I mean,
yeah,
the same
okay,
thing
well
happened
then-
with machines,
Yeah.
right? Like in factories and shit.
Well, you're talking about the Industrial Revolution, and like you're right about that, but the Industrial Revolution, the goal of that was mainly to process things at a rate and scale that was unheard of. Whereas with AI, that's one goal, but the other major goal with automation is it is fundamentally at its core designed to remove jobs from the economy.
Yep.
Because that's what it's supposed to do. So if it's not removing them at a higher rate than it's adding them, it doesn't exist.
I would, and I'm not sure what you think about this, I would assume that if AI technology is properly implemented and used how we view that it could be used with like AI fast food restaurants, I would assume the cost of living would drastically go down without having to pay so many more workers to sustain the like factories and restaurants that we currently have to do. Would that happen that way? I don't think the cost of living would go up. I would assume it would go drastically down.
Well, it depends on how you define that, because so the cost of living, for example, like for wages, like you look at wages, like how much money people get paid. At 1970, somewhere around there, like there was a massive divergence. And before then, like workplace productivity went up at about the same rate that wages did. And now, like, you know, where it was going up like this, now it's like this,
That's
or like
not-
wages are all the way down.
That's not good.
Yeah, and so usually whenever things are able to make more money, they retain the original prices unless other people reduce their prices. And I went to business school, and you know, I was many years ago, 3,000 years ago, and I remember one thing that I always thought was very interesting is that one of my my professors said that, you know, a price war isn't good for anybody, and so. Which is kind of an ironic thing because it clearly is very good for a customer, but the customer isn't even considered in the business equation. So as long as people are willing to buy stuff, I wouldn't expect the price of living or the cost of living to go down a lot. And I think another example you can use of resources and materials becoming cheaper and then not retaining any sort of a price reduction is diamonds. Look at the price of diamonds. Look at how easy it is to make diamonds and the artificial scarcity of them. And then also look at the artificial diamonds that are created and see how people don't put the same intrinsic value into it.
Yeah.
So I think that, no, I don't think the cost of living will go down substantially, although the raw cost of living will. It will just increase the profits for the, you know, the people that have the means to secure them.
Okay. The way I was picturing it was like,
Yeah.
you know how like if you want to get like a massage, you go to a masseuse?
Yeah.
You charge them like $400, $500.
Right.
You get rubbed up, feels
Damn,
good.
that's an expensive massage.
Yeah,
What
I don't
the
know how much a
fuck?
regular massage is, but I've only gotten one. And
That's a crazy expensive one.
That's not.
I'm sure
fun.
it was good
It was
though.
not that.
You have
much.
all that money,
okay.
you've
It was
only
not-
ever
I
had
can't- I
one
can't
massage.
imagine.
It's like $100.
Okay.
I'm fucking poor and I've had like 10 massages. That's weird. It's somebody who hasn't experienced life, who's sat in front of a computer their entire life. That's weird.
Okay, $100. Sure. Let's say you pay $100. Maybe you tip $50 because I mean that's some dramatic shit having to ask somebody to touch you like that. So you tip them pretty good. That way, you know,
Sure.
they feel better. Or you could do the massage chair, which is $1.30.
Right?
Does the same
Not
thing,
the
but just way
same.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same at all.
Yeah, that's how I feel about AI art. Like, people keep talking about it, and I mean, maybe over time it'll start to look more organic, but I've never looked at a piece of AI art and been like, damn, this is better than something a human could make.
I don't think that's true. I think that that's only true in the context of you knowing that it's AI art. How do you know that every single piece of art that you've seen isn't made by AI?
That's true, I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of AI art, like, especially when you can tell it's AI art, I feel like the value of it comes from like, oh wow, this was like really easy to make. It took like 10 seconds to type it in.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look better than something that's like obviously made by a skilled artist.
But it gets the job done, as well as then I don't have to talk to an artist who's gonna fuck me over. They're gonna make me wait 3 fucking weeks. I'm gonna do back and forth. I've had such a bad
3 weeks is really fast for an art commission,
3 weeks would
in
be
my
crazy.
experience.
Okay, I've been waiting 8 fucking months for emails.
That is
It's
annoying.
insane. I don't know. I've had a very bad time talking to artists.
I mean, part of the controversy with that also comes from that AI art is created from samples that real artists have made.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like the AI is pulling stuff that humans made to make its own thing. So then people are like, oh, in a way, it's like plagiarizing, stealing.
I understand that people are upset about that, but I will be honest. A lot of people base their art off of existing art.
Yep.
Like, for example, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is derivative in a lot of ways from Fist of the North Star.
Absolutely.
A lot of things.
Does that make JoJo's Bizarre Adventure any less or anything else? No, it doesn't.
No.
So I don't think that there is a substantial, like, logical difference between using something that's informed by an algorithm versus using something that's informed by perception.
I feel like there is, because I feel like that's like for streaming. Like, say like Ludwig did like an event that you really liked and you're like, oh, I want to do my own version of that. I feel like that's the same as like being like, I really like this artist's art, and then like taking a piece of their style and reference to your own. But I feel like AI is like a clips channel that's just a bunch of clips of other streamers. It like hasn't made anything that it's its own, you know?
Well, I think it depends on what you define as mating, as made. Yeah, mating. Like, sorry, like, it's such a dumb thing to say. As making, right? As making something. And so if you have something that like that is created, like, is there something that has a higher intrinsic value because it's created, like it's handcrafted? Like, if you found out that this or that or this chair, the blanket was handcrafted.
It's always the hand touch. Like, somebody spent some time on it. There's inherent value in the fact that somebody spent a lot of time around it even. Sometimes somebody will hand you a document and you're like, fuck, some people actually spent some time on this paperwork. And you're like, wow. And yes, it has much more inherent value if somebody spent some time on it. It does. 4 cents. I'll sell all of them because I don't want them right now. I don't want those right now. The bananas will sell for $2.17. That's pretty good. That's like 100 gold right there. I like grinding until I blow 5K each day. I think that's actually really... This guy tried to just say, that you couldn't make money, that you couldn't make money.
that there is to a lot of people, but to a lot of people there's also not. And I
It's
mean,
beauty is in
you
the eye
also
of the beholder.
can't stop it, so it's like, why fight it?
And I think that also, like, people right now are having this perception, and I bet that people had this same perception whenever cameras came out. And originally, people viewed photography as a joke. And then over time, it became more normalized as society got more acclimated to it. And I think that's what's going to happen with AI. Because, for example, with photography, you don't need to have photorealism with drawing anymore, because photography just exists.
It's
right? You don't need that.
It's crazy saying some of the things people do with AI. You know what? I saw on Amaranth's Twitter.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if she's still doing this, but I looked at this like
Is this the
a
bot?
week ago. The bot? No, not the bot.
Oh.
So what she's been doing is she was posting selfies of herself for like whatever she was doing, going live, whatever.
Yeah.
She started posting AI selfies of herself.
Right.
And it's very obviously AI, like her face looks off, like it's just off, her hands are fucked up, the background doesn't make sense.
Naturally.
But it gets the same amount of likes, and a lot of the comments don't even realize it's AI. So it's like,
Exactly.
why would she get dressed and put on makeup to take a picture when a lot of her viewers don't even know that it's an AI picture she probably took like 30 seconds to make?
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Really?
Go
Yeah, never- I've never heard
look
of
at her
it.
Twitter later. It's crazy.
What about Schlatt?
Think about it.
AI Schlatt.
What's AI Schlatt?
He face apps himself all the time.
Oh, I think face app is fine.
What's
I mean,
the difference?
That's like,
Oh, I don't think there's. No, I think it's fine.
I don't think that there's a. I really don't think there's a big moral difference between face apping and AI.
I wasn't even saying it was immoral. I just thought it was funny.
The problem is the
No,
internet-
I didn't mean that you were. I think it's very interesting too. I love it. I think it's incredible. And like at the end of the day, you know, you said it gets the job done.
Yeah, it gets pretty much the same amount of interactions.
And there are people that like AI art porn. They love it. Remember, we had the big fucking deep fake thing and all of that. And it's getting very popular. And it's going to continue to get like that. And that's just the way it is. And so there are ways that you can kind of like combat it. And I think so. Like that's important to do, especially with like people having their likeness used without their consent or against their consent, especially. But overall, I do think it's a great tool, and it will be like super useful for a lot of people with all kinds of things. Like, for example, my editors use AI Asmongold to just
People
read
don't
something.
even realize.
They don't even know.
That's crazy.
They have no idea, bro. In like 3 years, I'm just gonna retire, and people are never gonna know.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but like I could, and like they'd be like, oh wow, yeah, Asmon's stream really was great today. He doesn't get mad on stream anymore. Like, yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And so that's it. I think that's what's going to happen more and more is that you'll see more things become normalized, and as AI becomes normalized in culture, people will be more accepting of it. It's the same as like video games, right? Like we've seen, all of us really have seen. Like growing up, video games were not as culturally relevant or culturally accepted as they are now. And I think the same thing is going to happen with AI. Same thing happened
I agree.
with, I would say like 2016 was a pretty big turning point for like computers and like the internet, and like 2020.
Why 2016 in specifics?
The election. And
was that Obama?
no, that was Trump. Obama
Oh my God,
was
Trump was 2016.
yeah, Obama was 2008 and 2012.
I'm curious to see like the long-term consequences of things like AI, because even now for like the internet, like I keep seeing all these posts that are like, it'll be like a parent and he's like, my son is like 22 and he and none of his friends like go on dates or have girlfriends or really like socialize
my Reddit.
outside
Both
of
of those are on my Reddit.
Oh,
his
well,
problem.
it wasn't on. I didn't see it on your Reddit, but I did see it on Reddit.
Yeah.
But then, like, for things like, you know, like AI girls or like AI people, like, I also saw this study that was like about how like humans weren't meant to like see so many like beautiful or attractive people in their lives. Like, you'd be like in your village or whatever, and there'd probably be like 3 beautiful girls. But now it's like you go online and you see all of these attractive people, and like with AI even more so, and it just makes people like have a harder time like getting into relationships, staying in relationships, even like socializing outside of online. So over time, is everyone just gonna become like a degen hermit? Like, what's gonna happen?
I don't know.
I think that will probably happen to an extent. You're right.
Not everyone, but a lot of people.
And I think that also, like, imagine showing our life now to somebody who grew up in the year 1890. Like, they would view us as degen hermits. So it's like, because you think about back then, like you went to church, you got married in the church, like you wouldn't, like your idea of having fun was going down and, you know, everybody singing songs together, you know, at some bar or some tavern or something like that, or at somebody's house. So like, I think that really, yeah, you're right. Like AI fucks some people up, but I think the real truth is that it doesn't fuck some people up. It gives people the ability to fuck themselves up.
That's a better way to
Yeah.
put it. Yeah, I
It's a
feel
tool.
really bad for a lot of the people that are like, are they turning like 20 now, that, you know, went to high school during COVID and now they're going into like this like internet era where everything's kind of just easier
Everything's
and better
fake.
online. Yeah, everything's fake
Nothing's
too.
real. It's all for money, and you're being played.
I
it.
I hear a lot of people saying that, like, you know, filters and AI or video games are ruining people's perception and like raising the beauty standard. But like, I don't know. I
They have a term
I
for
think
it.
they just don't go outside because I feel
100%.
like when you go outside, you realize you're like, okay, like people online probably are hotter than people I see in real life, but that doesn't affect, you know, me being attracted to or enjoying people in real life. I feel like it's just people that spend all day like on their phone.
I feel
you
like
know?
I genuinely see 8 to 10, maybe even more than that, beautiful females every day, and like 30 to 40 beautiful dudes every day.
females. 30 to 40.
No, I'm seeing hot dudes everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hot dudes out there. Let me tell you that.
I don't know, man. Like people say, "Oh yeah, the beauty."
I mean, okay, so what? I think that you're
your
someone
job also
who.
is in entertainment. So it makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, also, like, for a streamer, I feel like you go out a lot more, but a lot of these people spend all day, like, scrolling on, like, Instagram or TikTok, and then they'll see, like, every post is, like, a girl that's, like, probably prettier than most people they've ever seen in real life, so then they go back in real life and they're just, like...
Well, she's prettier than she is in
I
real
mean,
life.
just then
too.
go to the gym. Because the people who go to the gym are just fucking beautiful.
Well, some of them, yeah. I mean, for sure. I
We're
think,
trying to get there.
well, they're not going to go to the gym, right?
Yeah,
That's the problem.
But I feel like people think that they're completely
Well,
cursed
I
by
think that, like,
RNG.
I think Emmy brings up a good point, right? Because, like, if you are a 13-year-old girl
Yes.
and you hate the way you look, you don't understand the context of face app, filters,
Oh, yeah.
Photoshop, makeup nuances.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
filtering.
even for guys, too. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
no doubt.
feel like it's been getting worse for guys, too. Like,
Oh, it definitely
I
is.
hate to use like words like body standards and stuff, but I'll see way more stuff of guys, just like weird things, and I'm like, what the hell's going
Oh
on?
yeah, where like a chick has a Triple J Mega Milker as in game, they say it's unrealistic, and then they see Kratos or Ryu, and
Yeah.
they say, oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah,
Like, it
love
makes
that.
sense,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
It
there's like
fits
some
the context.
there's some girl in a game and she's just in shape.
Yep.
It's not like she's super hot. She doesn't have mega milkers. She's just an in shape woman with maybe a 6 out of 10 on the boob scale.
Yep.
Okay. And then they're like, oh, well, this is an unrealistic standard.
Yep.
And then the male character, who's the male character? He-Man.
Yeah, he's like fucking
Yeah,
jacked,
like, what is
like
this?
6 foot shoulder span,
Yeah.
massive fucking pecs, and it's like, well, he's really strong, so.
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
Well, so- and then and the thing is, guys never complain about that. Like, yeah, of course that's who I want.
Because it's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, this guy's like, yeah, it's like
Well,
Ronnie
I think
Coleman.
the problem is like because for guys like that, it's like, oh well, he's like cool, he's like an exaggerated masculinity, but for girls, it's like, yeah, that's just what hot girls look like. So it is kind of different, but
I don't know. I've never once thought when I see a video game character that's how people look. At
Well,
least
I
for
used
me.
to want my
same.
hair to be like very and Terran WoW, and then I started balding. So yeah, it wasn't. I do have an example of that, but it's
I'm
close
so
enough.
sorry, man.
It is. Yeah, I know.
You know what's great?
What?
Next year, 1 year time, we're still doing this, and
Yeah.
you started to shave your head. That's gonna be a moment, man.
You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, bald
Wait,
Michael.
you would start shaving your head?
Absolutely not.
That's what he says now.
I really don't think my hair has gotten that much worse over the last 5
No,
years.
the thing is, I
Yeah.
don't think your hair is bad at all.
Right.
But I feel like eventually you're gonna be tired of hearing
Well,
it.
I've thought about going for a consultation to get a hair transplant. a little
Oh, well,
bit.
if you do that, you're probably gonna want to shave your head after anyway.
Well, I would do that probably just for the thing. But
Yeah.
like other than that, yeah, I thought about doing it. Sure, why not? Because I don't really like my hair, but it's not a big deal, right? Like, and this
Yeah.
is the problem, right? It's like, I mean, you were talking about this, where it's like people will focus on their hair, and it's like, oh, this is why I can't get a girlfriend. Oh, I can't get a girlfriend because I'm balding. I can't get a girlfriend because I'm 5'11". And it's like, if you talk to these people for 5 minutes, You'll
Their
realize.
personalities are just fucking
You'll
ass.
realize the real reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for like a surgery like that, it's like the reasons that you're doing it. I mean, if you just want to do it because you're like, oh, I feel like I'll look better, then it's like, why not?
I mean, I really feel like getting a girlfriend or boyfriend really is not that hard. You just do a simple formula,
No, dude,
which is
some of like the worst people I've ever known were
of
in
course.
relationships all the time.
100%. 100%. It just make that person, make them think that you are their favorite person. Like whenever they're around you, make sure they're having the most fun they can possibly have. They're laughing harder with you than anybody else. You know, just make them have fun, and then they'll want to date you eventually, or you'll get. I don't think the friend zone's a fucking thing. That's oh my god, that whole thing. Do y'all remember the friend zone era?
Well, it is a thing.
I mean, that was like the intro to the incel arc.
I think that it's definitely
oh my god,
a thing.
it was.
It actually was.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, because I remember I was in like middle school when that started, and I remember like I didn't even think about this, but I remember a bunch of other girls I was friends with on Facebook were like, why do we have to date you just because you're nice to us? And like some guys would be like, you know what, you're right, and others would be like, because like we do so much and no one cares. And it was like
Do
the
you
great
think I bought you
split.
Cheetos for nothing?
Yeah. It was like the great split.
Oh no!
I
Nice
think that you're
guys
right. I
finished
mean,
last.
well, that's the thing, right? And it's like I think the reason why that happens is because there is a tremendous lack of healthy male role models.
The great split.
Like I think it's a massive
I
problem.
think that's really true, and I feel
Nobody
like it
know-
has been getting worse.
Yeah,
even.
it's like because you know who should be your role model if you're a guy? It shouldn't be Andrew Tate. It should be Aragorn. Like Aragorn, who fucking came in there, saved his fucking kingdom, put himself before everybody else before himself,
Shit,
and he did what he needed
now
to
they've
do.
got like Andrew Tate, the kick streamers.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
true.
man.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like you don't want to, and also like there are things.
Yeah, what
Andrew
happened
Tate,
to
like,
your
I'm not an
idols?
Andrew Tate hater, right?
No.
Like I don't hate
I
everything
am.
he did. Well, I don't hate. I
am.
am with everything he says about women.
I think
right?
he's funny.
Which is that's the stuff that you hear
Honestly, I
about.
haven't
a
really
lot.
watched that much of his stuff.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of it, and I've seen a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it is very. It's vanilla advice. It's like work out, you know, improve yourself, and so like all this stuff is good. It's really the women's stuff that's the problem, at least in my opinion. And I think that's the big issue. Is so like guys don't know how to court a girl, how to talk to a girl, and so like they look at talking to a girl as it's like, okay, so like, can I look up this boss fight on like Wowhead? Like, where do I look this up? Is there a YouTube video for this? And so like there are guys like Andrew Tate and these other, you know, pickup artists and stuff like that, where they'll sell guys courses that basically commodify the action of being in a relationship or talking to
Yeah.
a girl.
I noticed that all those coaches though, their like end game goal isn't like a healthy
Well,
relationship.
their end
It's
game-
like
no,
it's to hook up.
no, that's not true. Their end game goal is to get you to buy the next course.
Okay, well, I'm saying
That's
even
right.
even within the course,
Yeah.
it's like to hook up and then move on to the next one, which is like, you know, if people want to do that, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, people
But-
do what they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're not exactly selling like I think like a lot of these guys that look into this do want to like feel loved and like someone cares about them, but entering this cycle, like if you already have bad self-esteem, it's just gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
It was very interesting when you said we lack all these good role models, male role models.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my friends about this recently about role models and like their heroes, and the person who I think that everybody's hero should be themselves. I feel that people.
Yep, I think I
don't
agree.
think that's a
It's weird
narcissist or
because it's tech tone,
egoistic
but I
take.
do agree.
I
My
really
my
feel
hero
like
is
if someone-
myself.
If you don't like yourself, if you are
Yeah,
not
like
your-
I like myself. I'm okay with myself. Everything that I did, it made sense. If you met the people, that you had been there. If you had met my XM, if you had met my XJ, if you had done all the people, like had been around the people that I've been, my friend A or my friend fucking P or my like I don't use their names because I'm trying to keep their identity fucking sacred, but like understand me, had you met the people that I knew, you would have done exactly as I did. When I was in high school, I broke into my fucking high school and caught a goddamn $4,000 fucking like bill and a bad charge. Well, not a charge, but like I got expelled and all this stupid ass shit. I did this to defend my best friend, right? No regrets. I mean, seriously, no regrets. And I would do it again if asked, because like those are things that help define you who you are. And so I look up to myself as being like, yeah, you were a punk singer. Yeah, you were an internet personality. You were a world-class WoW raider. You were a lead singer in a band. You were, you saved some lives. You've been in some high-speed chases. You've hunted police. You've, yeah, I mean, like literally, I've been through, I've been in the system in and out. They've tried to stick 10 felonies and failed. I've been through 7 false assault charges. I had a man who tried to kill me, you know what I'm saying? I've been with what I consider to be the most beautiful woman on the planet. I do feel this way. I say that I've been with what I consider to be the most beautiful woman on the planet. And no regrets, nothing. And I still feel like I still have that in me. I still have that kind of potential in me still. And so I think all the time, like, I am my biggest hero. I know I got a lot of haters and people that don't like me or whatever, but I am still my biggest fucking hero. I've always believed in everything that I was. All the lyrics that I sang, the bands that I was into, the friends that I had, the places that I were in, and the places that people were unhappy that I was in. I was not unhappy. I never felt shame to run with my friend M. I never felt shame to do heroin. I never felt shame to do methamphetamine. I never did shame to like smoke weed or be a fucking weird like lead singer or stoner type or like a skater. Like I never felt shame or like, you know, whatever, like fucking like all the things that I was, a raver. I never felt shame to be these things. There was times when I was working on a television show. There was times when I wrote albums. I have never been ashamed or whatever of who I am. I'm very, like, I want to be who I am. I think of most people, and I'm like, God damn it, they'd be jealous to have lived the life that I had, that I lived. Isn't that crazy? And I know it sounds crazy, but they would be jealous to live the life that I've lived. They'd be jealous to have slept with the women I've slept with. They'd be jealous to have the family that I had. Like, the friends that I have a lot of friends. Literally, I have, like, some number of friends who are very jealous of my friendship with someone. Two, three, four people that I know, right? Like, very, 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 like, systematically, socially fucking jealous. Have been since I was a teenager and shit. Of my social standing that I ignore. You know what I'm saying? That I don't even pay the people bills for. And I can go around these people and they're going to cry, scream, and love me and hug me the same way I'm going to cry, scream, love, and hug them. You know, like I love you guys. I love you. I never see you guys anymore. I fucking love you guys. But, like, honestly, I can't think of a person that I look up to. It's a terrible moral crisis for me. And I'm glad that they talked about it. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of a fucking person in my life that I look up to be besides me. You could say that sure, movie actors had more money, or lead singers had more money and more sex and more lifestyle, had more respect and love. You could say that Jesus had more respect and love. You could say a lot of people in reality had a lot more than I had, but I don't think they had the fun that I had. And I'm very, very serious about this. This is why it's okay for me to sit here like a recluse for the rest of my fucking life and never speak to another human again. It doesn't matter to me. My life was a party for 25 fucking years. And I look at it like, you know, Jesus Christ, it was the best time I ever had. There was times when the cops were chasing us. There was times when I was like out there in North Glen, sniffing around the wife of a friend of mine, trying to figure out if I could be a methamphetamine dealer addict. In the same period, I was also like a lead singer. I'm sorry, not lead singer, but I was like running my circle. I was like the top of my social. I was the social butterfly of my circle and stuff. And on top of it, like everybody's lives revolved around mine. And like, I don't know what you would call that, but like like now my life isn't like that anymore, and I don't want it to be like that anymore. I don't need it to be like that anymore. But there was a time of like where it's so like now I sense in the younger age, like this is the difference to me. It's kind of a simple social exercise. I'm going to say it because I'm going to publish this tomorrow, in the expectations that someone might dig this out later and be like, this is what you think about this, because this is what I think about this, right? When you think of yourself as a smooth debonair motherfucker or whatever, and you're like you're happy and you're in the heat of the moment, and you're about to cut a funny remark, or you're about to be there in the moment with your friends or something like that. Do you think that's what my hero would say? Do you think that's okay? I'm gonna say what Han Solo would say, or I'm gonna say what Trigun would say, or I'm gonna say what, you know, whatever, some heroes. I'm gonna say what Neo would say. I'm gonna say what Julian would say, or whatever, right? And you're like, what would motherfucking, and you think of the coolest person in the universe, and you're like, what would the coolest person in the universe say in this thing? And that's the difference. I've never thought of it like that. I think, what would I say in this moment? And I try to say what I would say in the moment. This is why people can't stand me a lot of the time, I would say, is because I do not hold back on what I would say at any given goddamn moment, because I'm not thinking about it like, what would my hero fucking say in this moment in time, in this timeless moment of time. I'm not thinking of it like that. I'm thinking of it like what would I say? What would I say?
Warp drive active.
What would I say? It's, remember that movie 8 Mile? He's like, if you lose yourself in the moment or whatever, and like you're just, what would I say if I'm the king, if I'm the one in the moment or whatever. And you know, that's how I feel. That's like how I feel. That's how I feel too.
Accepted.
Like it's like, I don't care what somebody else would say. I care about what I would say about the moment, you know.
Own hero, then I feel like you need to change yourself. If there's something that you don't like about yourself, you can change it.
Yep.
Whether that's personality or body-wise,
Yep.
or even career.
Me too. Like something that you don't like about yourself, you can get better about. And I like this aspect of Tectone's personality. You can always be a better person. You can double down on yourself. You can always be more social, or be more happy, or more involving, and throw a bigger party, or have like hotter girlfriend or something like that, right? You can always have like a better reality than who you are. But still, my whole problem is it you? Is it who you are? Is it the image that you've given the world your entire life? Like, you know, are you trying to be what you think is cool, or are you trying to be your fucking self? And there's been times when I'm like, yep, I just sucked dick, lost my job, fucking failed, addict out, and scrubbed out of that motherfucker and failed at. Oh, you know, like, I don't like to talk about this, but at the end of the 2 years at the madhouse, I scrubbed out with an empty bottle of liquor. I was celebrating the escape, and I brought a handle of vodka that my friend and I drank. And my friend Ann and I drank, and we played Tarkov, and it was like one of the last few days that we hung out. And I bought a big old bottle of vodka, and we got fucking wasted for like 2 days. And at the end of it, 3 days before, I got kicked out of the madhouse for an empty bottle of liquor. But nobody even raised their voice. Nobody was negative or angry. They were like, you're fine. You know? They understood that. I told them, I was like, I am not drinking because I relapsed. I told everybody who cared to listen. I told anybody who cared to listen. They were like, should we be worried about you? And I was like, absolutely the fuck not. I am drinking because I've never had a problem with alcohol. I have never, caused a problem or any of that. It's that I am celebrating being done with this terrible, terrible, terrible dark period of my life, where I lost the woman that I loved. I faced 10 years in jail for no fucking reason. I was betrayed by my city, my people, my country, my family, and well, not my family, but like my family being like my people, my country, my everybody that made me who I am. And I was betrayed, and I had nothing left in this world. I didn't really value anything. I was gone. I was okay with stealing from my parents even then at that point, because I was like, well, I'm gonna be dead soon anyways, and that was one of the reasons why they forgave me. I told them, I was like, well, I'm gonna be dead soon anyways, and so I don't care what you think about me stealing from you. And you tell them straight up. You tell them, like, I don't care what you think about me, because I'm going to be dead soon anyways, right? That's when the crisis hits for them, and they understand how bad it is for you. And that you're not like them, and that you're not like most people, and you have weaknesses, and you're sensitive, and you're empathetic, and you think different thoughts than most people. And, like, I don't know. It is what it is, but it's like I look at a whole entire culture raised by the MCU, looking for heroes in places that aren't themselves. I look at a entire culture that looks for worship in other things than themselves, such as Jesus or God or something like that. I look at a whole entire culture of people based around being dom or sub. And I think, like, how do you not have the most faith in yourself that you ever could possibly fucking have? And that's where I'm at right now, where I'm just like, yep. People ask me like, oh, you're not on, like my mother, she hit me recently. She was like, you seem to be almost proud of your criminal past. And I was like, no, I'm not proud of it. And she's like, yes, you are. You bring it up all the time, and you use it, like you beat it over our heads with it. And I'm like, no. I am very proud for surviving that dark period of my life. And I will not act like it didn't happen like you. I will not act like it did. It wasn't like I didn't, like, people's lives weren't caught up in it. Like, we didn't face, like, hell. I will not act like I wasn't there, or that I didn't do it. There was days when I woke up in Civic Center Park in Denver and Colfax and Broadway in a fucking tent, and I would get up in the morning and I'd have nothing to fucking eat, and I'd think, where am I gonna get $6 for a pack of cigarettes? I'll kill for a pack of cigarettes. I don't care. I'll do anything for a cigarette. I'll do anything. You know? Days like that, where you're like, yep, I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best I was in my life. But I'm still the biggest fucking fan I've ever been of myself, you know? And he's got a good point about this. Like anybody cheering for what would Jesus do, or what would, and I'm not saying Jesus is bad. I'm saying, like, anybody cheering for what somebody else would do doesn't really, I think, understand what it is to be a human. We are out for ourselves. Like, I'm not saying be selfish or treat others badly. I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, Jesus and God, or anybody else that you might think of, Buddha or Confucius, it doesn't really matter. They aren't accountable for you. You're accountable for you. You're the only one in this universe accountable for you. And I think this is something, I think this is a message, I'm not going to like fucking congratulate myself or fucking actualize myself, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I am going to tell you what I think. I think God would say the same, essentially. It's like, you are as great as you tell yourself to be. And I would say God would tell you the same. I would say. So like this thing about what would Han Solo do in this situation? Or what would my biggest hero do in this situation? I don't really fucking relate to that. I think about what would I do in this fucking situation? What would I do in this situation?
I feel like with hard work, you can achieve pretty much anything.
Pretty much anything.
Majority of scenarios.
Anything, anything is possible. Anything, nothing is unsurmountable. Nothing is undoable. Anything is possible. You are your own fucking realities. You decide whether you are a streamer. You decide whether or not you're a worker. You decide whether or not you're a rich man or a poor man. You decide whether or not you're a family member. It's all this, like, that is all on you. I think a lot of the times, most people will really give you a guilt trip and try to get you to act the right way if there's like societal pressures and such. But overall, it's still your decisions whether you want to be you or do you or be you. And I don't, I look at it now like the only person now that's left, right? Like, I'm going to tell you guys cold how bad it was. Like, I've known this since I was like 27 or something like that, right? I've known this for a long fucking time. Since I was like 17, maybe 19, somewhere around there. 17, 19, about when I grew to be an adult, right? And not a real adult either. I would say I'm a real adult now that pays his bills and takes care of his family, looks out for his family, and is like there, and is not a drug addict and not in jail or any of that stupid ass shit, you know? Like an actual fucking person. But I knew by the age of between about 17 to like 19 that all of my heroes were dead. God was dead by all sorts of reasoning by my standards. God was dead. Jesus was dead. Like, most of the love in my life was dead. Most of the decency in the human race around me was gone. Most of the good and the kindness to the people around me was gone, and they were willing to turn their back on people. It wasn't about us. It was about me and all this other fucking shit, you know? And I'm part of that too. Sometimes it's about me, honestly. Yep, this is a good spec. I like this spec. So yep, and so now I'm like, I don't know. I look like every time that I like, okay, like for me it's different. Like so when I don't know how to do something, I go to YouTube and I try to find out how to do it, and I do it, right? Even this career was like that. I built this career out of nothing. I was like, how do I do OBS? How do I play 3 games at once? How do I do OBS display capture? How do I get display capture to work across all the boards? How do I balance my sound? How do I get a cheap microphone? How do I get a cheap camera? How do I portray myself to the public and not create this image that I can't like maintain or any of this other shit, right? And in the end, I was like, okay, I learned how to do all of it in time. People left pointers, and I was able to do what I wanted to do. But at no point was I like, how do I be Asmongold? How do I be Ludwig? How do I be Crusader? How do I be, I don't know, what's another one? Catspur. How do I be these people? How do I be Marquis Dragon? I can't. But I know how to be the Skycat. I'm doing it right now. I know how to be the Sky Cat, and I don't go into it thinking like what would a smooth debonair motherfucker say? I think, what would I say? What would I say? I can hold myself accountable to it. I can hold myself accountable to the failures and the anger. I can hold myself accountable to not like quadrupling his size quickly or any of this other stuff, right? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm still gonna keep doing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I had a friend of mine ask me recently. Like, I can tell you what he asked me, you know? I'll show you what he asked me. It's almost cathartic for me. I'll show you what he said. This is a friend. Somebody I consider a friend, you know? He said, hey, bro, so the last few times I joined your stream, you were ranting or raving and switching topics randomly and attacking people who were nowhere to be seen. And I like some and yes, that is what I was doing at that moment. Now to you, that might be weird or random behavior. For me, it's being me, and I don't try to hold back from it. I don't try to. It's one of the reasons why I thought I might be successful at this. I've never ever like just tried to be someone else. I'm exactly me, nothing else but me. I'm very cold when it comes down to it, but I don't have any illusion to like what it is that I offer, which is essentially me, you know? And so I'm a big believer in me and the things that I believe in. And so like he says, you are the master of your own fate. It was not Tectone that I expected to relate to in this conversation, but it was. And so we're going to finish out what he was saying. But it's like, you know, I don't relate to anybody else in this moment, you know? It's only me. I can't think of anybody else that lived up to the same shit, you know. I don't think it existed like that. I don't think it happened like that. Now I lost the video. I'm sorry. I've got to load it again. Fucking VPN makes my shit so goddamn slow. This wasn't it. This is not what I wanted. I wanted you to go to home. And I wanted you to go to my history. And there we go.
And ugly. Like, if you go out to the gym and get in shape, it's really, I don't think I've ever seen a guy who's in shape where I'm like, wow, that guy's butt fucking ugly. I feel like it's pretty hard. Just get in shape and then grow a beard. I mean, that's pretty much 90% of the things people look at anyways.
Yeah, I'd say for most people to be, like, attractive, all you really need to do is, like, be in decent shape and, like, take care of your hygiene.
So I watched an incel documentary.
Yep, that's what I do.
And it was a guy who
I'm
was
not in
talking
decent
about
shape, but I
how
take
he
care of
used
my
to be an
hygiene.
incel. And it showed his bedroom. I showed this to y'all. And his bedroom had figurines of anime lollies in it. And so it's like, imagine what happens when you bring a girl over. Yep. And she sees that. It's fucking weird. It's extremely fucking weird. And so that's the truth, right? People
How
don't
old was
want...
that guy?
How old was he? He probably 24, 25.
Okay, because I was going to say, I feel like those kinds of guys, those are the kind of guys that girls date when they're like 17 to 20, and then it becomes a horror story for the rest of their fucking lives. I've heard so many stories from other girls about guys like that, and they're all like, man, that was fucking awful. The most emotionally abusive relationship I've ever been in.
Wow.
It's like crazy ass dudes.
Lollies.
Yeah, that is nuts.
We should talk about this.
Oh, really?
Can we talk about this?
I have no problem talking about it.
Okay, great. Oh my god.
I saw you fighting on Twitter with the people where you were like, if you like lollies, that's like low-key weird. Like, you weren't even saying anything that controversial.
It is low-key
and
weird.
People were fucking going in on you with lolly profile pictures. I was like, what is going on?
Twitter with 11.6 thousand posts for calling out lollycocks. Because I said, if you like children, if you like lollies, you're fucking creepy and you're a pedophile. The reason why I made this video is there is a YouTube channel. I'm gonna leave him unnamed because by calling him out, now the lollycucks have a place to take shelter.
Are you saying
in.
lollycucks?
Yeah, lollycucks.
How is that different from like lolicon?
Oh, that's just a more derogative way to say lolicon. I don't
okay,
like saying the
cool.
word lolicon. It makes me
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
me too.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
it. He made a video. You know Klee,
Yeah.
Nahida, Diona from
Yeah,
Genshin
literal
Impact?
like 7-year-old
Well,
looking
he
characters.
made videos about which one of them's the most breedable and which
Oh,
one of them
no.
sucks the best dick. And
Bro.
he puts breedable over their eyes like the black logo and the porn logos. And I call him out for being that's just fucking disgusting, right? And that was one of those forehead takes. I was like, okay, I'll dunk on these people real quick just for fun.
Yeah, that seems like a given opinion.
Yeah, like a given dunk. You know, dunk on
The Earth is round.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, you know? But apparently, when you poke the lollycut community, they don't like that. They do not. I have never seen more people defend pedophilia.
Well, I think
in
a lot
my
of them
whole
are,
life.
are in denial. Because I think most people would agree. Like, I've seen people be like, oh, it's just a drawing. But it's like, what is the drawing supposed to be?
I get the meaning for some people. They're like, okay, Tectone, you can't call someone who likes anime children a pedophile. You can't call them that. They haven't fucked the kid, right? Asmongold weighed on this with an amazing analogy.
I don't know if I would straight up say they're a
Harvester
pedo,
gloves.
because it's like that word just has so much weight to it.
Yes!
It has so much strength to it. Is it really worth like watering
Lock.
it down for just
That's like
creeps that
$5
are looking at
grand.
Pictures on the internet? I
$5
love
grand.
cartoons. Like I don't think so. Like I don't know, but like there's definitely a gray area. And what I said is that for everybody who was saying that, oh, it's not that bad, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's totally fine, would you want a person that you knew was really into this stuff watching your kids?
Absolutely fucking not. I totally agree with
And that right there, that spread, that is the perfect explanation of the intellectual dishonesty. Is because people, it's like, yeah, sure, like, let's think about this philosophically, let's think about it theoretically, and you are intellectualizing a problem that the moment whenever it actually approaches you in real life, you realize, wait a minute, this is fucking stupid. Of course I'm not actually going to do this, right? And so, like, this is one thing that a lot of people do on the internet, is that they will intellectualize and like theorize and philosophize about some idea or theory or some concept, and they will do it so much that they completely remove themselves from reality. And it's like you are no longer in reality because you're operating of like 3 different steps of removal based off of like internet logic. Where it's like, whenever it comes down to brass tacks, do you want a person into that stuff? Watching your kids? Absolutely not.
Hell no.
Here's another one. How many of you, well, actually, I'm not going to ask you guys. It's a bit odd, but there's a lot of people. I did this on my stream, so I just immediately started running that track.
Type one chat.
Yeah, exactly. Type 1 in chat if you agree. And so basically, if you watch hentai and you're into women, you're probably not going to watch gay hentai, right?
I don't watch hentai. I don't watch
With
gay
men in it,
sex. I don't
and
watch gay
if
porn.
you're into, you're right. Okay.
It's not real gay, it's drawings.
Yeah, it's not real gay. It's drawings, right?
Yep.
Because you still wouldn't be attracted to it. Now, how many people are not furries, but they watch furry hentai, furry anime?
Not very many.
Why not? Why not? Why
They're
not?
not attracted to that.
They're not attracted to furries. So that means that whenever somebody watches lolly content,
Why do you think that is?
what could that possibly fucking be?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just the level of intellectual. And I'm not saying to put all these people in jail, right?
Of course.
I'm not saying to shoot them, line them up, but I'm saying, bro, it's fucking creepy. Stop pretending like it's creepy.
Oh, 100%. And like when
That's
I say,
all I want to say.
when I call somebody a pedophile, like I get watering down the term, probably not a good idea.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're watering it down a little bit.
When I call someone a pedophile, I'm not actually calling them a pedophile. It's like, for example, when I'm playing League of Legends
Right.
and somebody sucks and I say you're retarded, kill yourself. I'm not saying you are a retard. You have a mental disability. Go kill yourself now. I just need a severe word to call them that makes them know how I feel, because
Right.
creep isn't enough. It's just not.
I mean, maybe they're not like, they haven't done any like, you know, pedophile crimes, but it's definitely pedophilic. Like it is like attraction to minors.
Yeah. I don't know what the right word is. Like I struggle with using that word because I think that, like, for example, I feel this way with using the words like slavery and using the word Nazi as well. Like Nazis did some really, really bad stuff. Like slavery, like they used to pull teeth out of black people so white people could have the teeth. And so, like, it was really, really bad.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
It was really bad. Slavery was really bad. Yeah. And so, like, I don't like kind of like comparing, for example, being paid a low wage to slavery because I feel like it devalues the actual true historical horror of it.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, it's a word, right? Who cares about what word you use? Like, let's not be dishonest here. The people that are getting into this stuff, it's fucking weird. It is. And like, I don't want to have like my intelligence insulted by them saying that it's not. I don't want to be told that the thing that is right in front of you isn't there. Nah, bitch, it's there, and we all see it.
They're either just in denial or they don't want people to call them out for it, or both.
We just need better words that don't water down pre-existing words, but still have the same emphasis, like nake. Like calling someone a fucking nake. Like that feels really good.
What's a nake?
Oh, it doesn't mean anything. But it feels like it should. Like if I called you a dirty fucking nake, like
Wait, did you make that up or
nake was originally coined by Sear in 2020, and now I'm continuing it.
I might start using that.
The word
too.
I used recently is fluger.
Fluger?
Yeah, dirty fucking fluger. You know, it sounds really bad, but it doesn't mean anything.
So does Sear just come up with slurs that aren't slurs?
Yeah, he did. He did that with Wafflegate. Yeah, slurs that aren't slurs. It's really good. It has like that real guttural feeling to it. But yeah, we need words like that. That way I can still call them what they are. They get it, but it's not watering down.
Yeah, they know what you mean.
100%.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, people get really offended about that and they get really defensive about it. And I think it's because, like, it's one of the things in, like, our culture that it's like you can't really do anything worse than that, right? Is like, you know, with stuff with kids and shit like that. Like, that's like the worst thing that you can possibly do. So, of course, people are trying to, like, defend it and everything. And it's like, I don't know really, like, what the solution to that is, right? I mean, how can these people seek help? How can they deal with it? I don't fucking know. And to be honest with you, I don't fucking care. It's not my problem. Stop posting your weird shit on Twitter. Keep it to yourself. And stop acting like it's not fucking creepy. That's all I want. That's it. It's just, it's so, and I think people obviously, like, nowadays on the internet, it is very weird how, and I don't know about you guys, but like I see this all the time, where it's like, there are people that just have like such a dramatic, like, their perception of reality is based off of like an anime that was written in Japan that was supposed to be like a movie that was written in America. Like they don't even, like, they're getting their version of reality like 3 steps of removal. And it's like the perspective that people have on things is just incredible to me. It's really incredible.
The thing that was crazy is I don't know that many people who, in my personal life, that actually like lollies. The closest one I have that is Lucari. I even asked Lucari about this shit. And even he thought that shit was weird.
Of course.
Which is insane. Also, do you know that Lucari went to a mental hospital?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you know about that?
I knew about that,
He's public about this. This isn't like, you know, bringing. He went to a mental hospital. And he was like in an asylum.
How long?
3 months.
How was it?
Apparently not good.
Sucked?
Yeah, apparently he got some...
Is it a straight check?
I actually don't know.
I would
Apparently got some
I don't think they really do that in real life too much often.
He ripped a door off of its hinges and threw it at people.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he was very angry. Don't do drugs, guys. Marijuana is very bad. Speaking of things that are very bad, I saw the interview with Dan Clancy recently. And Twitch is not profitable 6 or so years after the company was established. I don't know how long it's been since Justin TV. It's been a long fucking time.
Yes.
Longer than 6 years, way longer.
Okay.
I think like close to 10.
Yeah, I don't get how the company is still not profitable. I know, Asmund, you said you knew about this shit, because I need you to make this shit make sense. Because it seems like it's doing very good. Maybe I'm missing something. But if it's not profitable now, when will it ever be? They laid off 35% of their employees.
500 people.
Yeah, which I think is fine if they really weren't doing anything. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe you all know.
Okay, well, part of the reason they had so many people on to lay them off is because what's the word? Like during COVID, a lot of businesses overhired.
Irresponsible overhiring.
Yeah, but then after they ended up having a lot of employees that literally didn't have anything to do.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay.
They had, I think the word's overgrowth during COVID.
Okay.
And then after COVID, they were like, well, we just sit around all day doing nothing. So.
And last thing, they were talking about removing Twitch Prime. I'm hoping that's not true. What do you know about that, Evan?
Is this time for me to just start talking?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, why have you ever noticed in grocery stores why all of the important things like milk and electronics and things like that, have you ever noticed that all of them are all at the back of the store?
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
Sunk costs. I have no fucking idea, actually.
Think about it.
Oh, wait. You put them all the way in the back. That way you have to walk past all the other shit, so maybe you buy shit along the way.
Cute, right?
Yeah.
That's cute, right? Okay, so basically, a lot of those things, are you familiar with what the term a loss leader is?
No.
Okay, so a loss leader is something in business where Black Friday sales are like this, where you're selling something as a loss in order for it to lead to other sales. So basically, yeah, we're selling 50-inch TVs for $50, but there's only 10 of them. And also, there's a bunch of other stuff in the store. And there will be people who, whenever they see that TV is sold out, they will buy the second best TV that they do make a profit on. Or on the way out, they'll buy, a Hershey's bar, or they'll buy a chair, or they'll do grocery shopping there. So basically, loss leaders function as a tool to get people into the ecosystem of using a service or going to a store. So this exists in a macro level on all kinds of websites. So do you think Kick is profitable?
Yes.
Why?
I believe they tout about it quite often.
In what context do you think Kick is profitable?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea. I believe I heard them boasting like, oh yeah, Twitch isn't profitable at the 70-30, yet we are at 95-5. Get your shit together.
Well, have you ever thought that Kick is probably only profitable whenever you contextualize it around the amount of referrals and traffic that it drives to stake?
Okay.
Because Kick is profitable if you factor it into the ecosystem that it exists in, right? So, for example, if you killed every mosquito in the world, you would completely destroy some ecosystems, even though everybody hates mosquitoes. Because things that, and this is like a bad thing in nature, but if you remove that, it will affect the entire ecosystem in a dramatic way where it wouldn't necessarily make sense.
So we kill all the streamers.
Right. And so, that's or the mosquitoes.
The mosquitoes.
Yeah, the bloodsuckers. And so Amazon, how big is Amazon? Amazon is a company that has a net worth of $1,588 billion. That's $1.5 trillion.
Insane.
That's a lot of money. So how much did Amazon buy Twitch for? Well, they bought it for $1 billion. It might be $2 billion. Account for inflation, growth, things like that, we're talking about $5 billion. So if you subtract 5 from 1,588, you pretty much have the same number, don't you?
Yeah.
So Amazon has a complete cultural lock on live streaming in Western audiences. And also another reason why Twitch, by the way, let a lot of people go is because obviously Twitch Korea is gone. So you lose a massive community there that's just gone, and that wasn't Twitch's fault. It seemed to me like, and I'm not sure about this, I talked to some Koreans, they feel the same way. Other people don't understand it.
Are they still live?
They're still live until February. Okay. And so the reason why that happened was basically the Korean government and the ISPs there functionally creating a monopoly that benefits Korean businesses. So it was just basically subversion of the free market. And so it just fucked Twitch over. So that's what happened with that. Then you go back to Twitch. Whenever Twitch isn't making a profit, that doesn't necessarily mean that Amazon is spending $5 billion a year or $1 billion a year on Twitch. It could also mean that Amazon is spending $100 million because Twitch is making 4.2 million or 4.2 billion, and it needs to make 4.3. So the difference is actually very small because just not making a profit, what does that mean? Are you behind on profit? Are you 50% of the way there? Are you 5? Or are you 90? Like there's no way to know because they don't provide that data, at least as far as I know. Maybe, I mean, Amazon's a publicly traded company. Do they provide the financials for Twitch? I don't know. I haven't seen them. But what I do know is that Twitch is a massive marketing tool for Amazon. And it's also, more importantly, a value add for Amazon's main vehicle for making sales, which is, again, another loss leader, which is Amazon Prime. So if Amazon Prime provides a value that people see is powerful, then people will buy that and then in turn be more likely to buy things from Amazon because, as you said, sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
Because now you've already bought this, it's like, well, I might as well use it as well. So basically what happens is that Twitch is making Amazon a lot of money and it's extremely valuable to them. The reason why people view it as not being valuable is because you're looking at a balance sheet, but you're only looking at that balance sheet in terms of what I was saying, like mosquitoes. You're not looking about the balance sheet in terms of the impact that those mosquitoes have on the entire ecosystem of Amazon, which is a $1.5 trillion company, where Twitch is such a small, minute piece of it, but at the same time, Twitch has so much value because of its cultural relevance, because of its ability to drive marketing, because of obviously, the marketplace that it has, and like its basically first mover advantage in the live streaming industry. There are so many different ways that Twitch is massively profitable and provides so much more value to Amazon than I think that anybody could even imagine. I think that Amazon is very happy with Twitch. And of course, things can be better. That's why they fired all those people.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, Emmy was right. The reason why all those people got fired is aggressive and also, more than aggressive, irresponsible overhiring during COVID. And also, you're seeing a lot of social media companies like Meta, and you're seeing social media companies like Twitter. I mean, Elon Musk fired 80% of Twitter. It's kind of like an extreme example. But Unity dropped a bunch of people, which is, again, probably a reaction to the controversy they had. But many companies have been dropping a lot of people. Tech companies have. And the reason for that is simply because tech is maturing. And, for many, many years, people were investing, like these venture capital companies were investing $100 million into every social media network. So it's like, well, we're just going to hit.
What does venture capital mean?
Venture capital is whenever they give you money and then you use that money to make them money with making your company money.
Investors, pretty much.
Okay.
They say, we're going to give you $1 million, we're going to get 10%. And then in 10 years, that 10% is worth $10 million.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Or no?
Well,
Kind of.
I guess, yeah. I mean, they do things like that in Shark Tank. Yeah, they do. And so that's kind of the way that it works. And that's the reason, and that's the way that Twitch is so profitable, is because Twitch, again, it's the cultural relevance that it has, and also the fact that whenever you say it's not profitable, that doesn't mean that it's not making any money. It might be making money, but it's not. It's 70% of the way there.
Yeah, it would probably be like 85% if you would run ads on your channel.
It would definitely help. Yeah, it would definitely help.
That's so crazy to me that you're not partnered. You don't want to be partnered.
Oh, we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
They've been shadow banning me recently.
Really? What do you mean by that? Like you don't show up in search?
What? My stream will go live, and then it will go offline, and then it won't come back online for like another 10, 20 minutes.
Oh, you know what else I've noticed? I'm not even kidding you. Because I thought it was a bug, but it happens for just your channel.
Yeah.
You'll be live, and it will not tell me that you're live.
That's right.
And then I'll refresh, still won't say it. I'll refresh, and then it'll say you're live.
That's right.
Then I'll refresh, and it won't be there anymore again.
That's right.
Is that on mobile?
It's for both mobile and desktop.
I was gonna say I have like some weird mobile bug where the top stream doesn't show up until I refresh 10 times.
Yeah, it's so annoying, and you see it for
and then the one in the middle
frame.
is there twice.
Yes.
It's like, bro, what the fuck? It's so annoying. I need to fix that shit.
Oh, also, I wanted to say, so we all had a conversation at length after we recorded the Steak and Egg special at my house, where you all talked to me about things I should be doing on stream. I've taken all of y'all's advice, and it's worked fantastically.
It's
crazy. Things like what?
I have just completely stopped giving a fuck, and I'm saying everything that I want to say, and I'm doing some fucking goofy ass content. Because the day after y'all talked to me about just do more crazy shit on stream, the next thing I did was I went live and I got completely naked and then masturbated on stream.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because of our talk.
Yep.
We did that.
1,000,000% because of
I created that hate thread on Twitter.
Was there a hate thread on there?
Yeah, there was.
You made the hate thread?
I didn't see it for once.
People were tagging me in it. That's how I found out about it.
Oh, my
what were they
God,
saying about
that's
me?
crazy.
I don't know that that you had a majority underage audience and that you were masturbating on stream.
I put 18 plus in the title.
I hate when people say that shit because it's usually not true for streamers. There
3%.
aren't a lot of kids that watch Twitch, and when they do, they're watching people like Kai, Queso, Minecrafters, things like
Queso's
that.
low-key hilarious. Have you seen his shit, Queso?
No, I haven't. No.
He's like a fat fuck, and his whole gimmick is being a fat fuck.
Okay.
It's awesome. That's
a good one.
His whole chat just sits on him for being fat.
Okay.
He like pulls up some comments of them shit talking for being ugly as fuck. And he's like, "You're banned," and that's his whole channel. His TikTok blew up. He's so funny. It's Queso and Jinxie.
Yeah, Jinxie's pretty big too.
Jinxie's like he plays, what is it?
Rainbow Six
Six.
Siege. Yeah.
Says some dumb shit. It's good days, man.
He's
I mean,
funny. He's
yeah,
funny. I like
they're
him.
good. They're funny as
They're
fuck.
good vibe channels.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they're definitely like, I mean, obviously, and those guys are like 20, 21. So like, big surprise. They're going to have an audience of guys that are younger.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I'm old. And so I'm going to have other guys that are watching me. Like anytime that like in real life, somebody recognizes me, it's like, oh, so, honey, give me a minute. Oh, that's big old big dick. And that's it, you know? And it's always guys with gray beards, 20s, late 20s. That's usually what it is.
Aren't you like only like 32, 33?
33, yeah.
Who cares?
Well,
Bullshit. That kid is
33
like
a very big difference.
That guy is
from
like 40.
It's probably like 40-year-olds that are being like, haha,
He's
you're
36
so
at the youngest.
Because like more than half of my
He
audience
is not
older than me,
33.
and I get people being like, you're dying soon. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
know.
I'm just saying, like, dude, if I go on YouTube and I see
He's got wrinkles.
This
That
Is
guy's
It
like
by
36,
Asmongold
dude. At
video,
the
and then
very,
you pull
very
a Matt
youngest.
Pat, which by the way, that shit broke my heart. I love Matt Pat, bro. You can't.
His parents
I'm
died
happy
of
for him. I think it's great.
old
and he'll
age,
probably still do
essentially,
YouTube a
not
little bit
old,
after he
but,
takes a
you
break
know,
for a
his
while.
mother
so
has
other people
passed
will.
away.
It's good for him to take a
That
break.
is not
take
a
some time
30-year-old
off and really
man.
do something else, and then come back, maybe recenter. A lot of people like he'll probably do something else.
He's been on the
You know what would
grind
be?
for years.
I guarantee you, this would break trending. If you need a top 50 trending for you to make this video, just make a video saying I'm not retiring.
Yeah.
And then just talk about why you're not retiring. I bet that would farm views 100%. That's a good ass video.
You think so?
Because everybody else is retiring. So they're like, hey man, I'm not, because I want to play video games every day until I fucking die.
I don't really, I don't really think about retiring or anything like that. I
Yep.
never worry about that kind of stuff. Like, obviously, something crazy could happen or whatever. I mean, who knows? But
You never thought about retiring ever?
Oh, no, I used to all the time.
Okay, I did as well when I played Genshin.
I wonder. I bet why.
Since I stopped, I don't think about it
Yeah.
anymore. When did you think about retiring? Also, Emmy, have you ever thought about it as well?
I did, yeah. Well, whenever I thought about retiring, I never thought of it as like a super near future thing.
Oh, I did.
But I was like, probably like 2-3 years. And that was when I was doing the constant, like, just chatting collab stuff.
Ooh.
Like, I do like doing those streams, but there was a point I was doing them like 3 times a week. And I was like, man. But now that I'm doing like 70-80% gaming content, I've been a lot happier.
Yeah.
I think that at some point I will take a big step back from streaming, but I don't think for a long time, maybe like 4 or 5 years minimum.
Yeah. 4 or 5 years later? When
From now.
So then you'll be like, what, 30?
30, yeah.
Okay.
You'd be really old then, like us. Yeah.
Well, I
You're
used to be
40.
like, man,
They're all
30,
lying
that's
about
like-
their age.
That's like crazy.
She's
That's like you can't
30,
be on the
he's
internet anymore,
40.
but I mean, there's people like Valkyrie and Lily Pichu who are still doing pretty well, just chilling, doing their own thing. And I'm like, well, I could do that.
Like with YouTube, I think it is also different. Like that's why
That's true, yeah.
I wanted to focus more on YouTube, is I feel like Twitch definitely has like a younger trend with it. Whereas like on
think so?
YouTube, yeah, I think so for sure.
Yeah, I think it's because like with younger people, like a younger streamer, it's like you're watching them experience a lot of things for the first time. It's more interesting, but like an older streamer, I feel like it's more about like chilling with them. I don't know if that makes
So
sense.
here's a really good way to look at it. Super easy. How many popular Twitch streamers have gray hair?
Okay. I get that.
Yeah, but
okay.
That's a good one, right?
That's true, but like anyone who has gray hair would have been kind of too old to get into Twitch when it started
Yeah,
anyway.
that's what I'm thinking. You know? I mean, there's like Pop. I feel it's because I feel like everybody knows YouTube and nobody knows Twitch. It's too too obscure.
I mean, I still feel
okay.
like when you're that old, I feel like most of the people that will watch you will be people that have been around for a long time, but that means like a lot of other people who are around for a long time will have like moved on with their life, and it might be hard to get new viewers at that point.
I am not sure about that. I mean, I'll let you know in 20 years. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's not necessarily true. It just depends on how you have how you do your content. Like for example, George Carlin. was popular for his whole life, getting new fans all the time. He was a comedian. And, you know, he was like 70, 80 fucking years old, and people were loving it. He was super popular. So I think it really just depends. Like, a lot of the reason why I think people fall off is because they get off.
Yep.
Like, they're like, okay, well, I've done this for 5 years. I want to start a family, and I'm going to be more casual with my content and just put less effort into it. And I think that's amazing. That's great, because that's the natural, like, way of life. But
I want to do this every day
also
for the rest of my life, because I've done this every day since since I started. I've done this every day of my life for fucking forever. I don't know why I would stop now. I'm not stopping now, you know?
There are people who, the reason why I think some people fall off and aren't successful anymore is because they never really knew why they were successful in the first place.
Yep.
And so, like, if you can't understand why people watch you, then you can't understand how to get people to keep watching you. So I think that's really what the issue.
That's good as fucking advice. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
I always
So,
thought it was the
I would say
gameplay.
that's,
I always thought.
that's the way at least I look at it.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I never really worry about, you know, losing relevance or anything like that, because I think that there will always be a group of guys that want to listen to another guy talk about video games and fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Just internet drama. Like, this will never get old. It will never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a pretty good niche to do long-term content creation.
I mean, straight. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
YouTube's video's been doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. Especially, I feel like people's shorter lifespans are people who tie their entire relevance to a certain game's success.
Game, yes.
Yeah, a certain game, or I feel like people who tie their identity to, like, being edgy, or, like, they only, like, talk shit on people. Like, it's kind of different than drama creators. Like, an example, I don't know if I should name specific
this would
people.
be the point where if we were off stream, we'd be like, oh, like this guy and that
Yeah,
guy.
okay,
Oh,
so
exactly.
people that
Yeah,
tie their
right.
identity to being edgy or like being a piece of shit, I feel like that audience gets tired of them really fast and moves on to the next one, compared to someone who makes content based around something that they enjoy, and then other people who enjoy the same thing find them.
Yeah. I have experienced the content creators who have tied themselves to a video game to such severe degree that it's actually sickening, where people's entire personality becomes Genshin Impact. It actually drives me insane just to think about, where people like starting to sexually identify as characters from the fucking game.
Oh, they're kinning?
What is that?
Oh, I know about this from cosplay. So it's when someone is, I mean, it's like they're obsessed with the character. They're like, I identify with this character so much that they're literally me. Like, I am them. Like, a lot of people who do kinning,
like the Final
most
Fantasy
people are
house.
kids, right? But not all of them. Like, you know, like, what's an example? Like, I don't know, like Junko and Ashima from Danganronpa. There's this thing called shifting where they'll be like, oh, like, my personality changed and I shifted into them. I became them, and like they'll like act like they have like multiple personality disorder.
How the fuck do you find out about this? I've never heard this ever.
Because I was a TikTok cosplayer for a while, and I would see this shit, and I would just be like, yep.
Oh yeah, people do that kind of stuff. They think that they're animals.
Oh yeah, like there's animals too.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
bumped
care.
into furries at the arcade the other day.
Oh yeah.
Were they wearing the
Yeah,
fursuit?
full suit.
How'd they smell?
Oh, like piss.
Okay.
Like piss?
Yep, like piss. They were doing the old, what's it called? Musky Husky.
No conveniently placed
What is
holes.
musky husky?
Oh, Musky Husky is before you have sex in your fur bodysuits, you piss in them. That way you smell like a dog. Musky Husky.
I've never smelled a dog that smells like human piss, but
Well,
okay.
Well, what do you
ones.
think their dogs smell like?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
and
god.
so that's just how it is.
That's crazy. What?
Oh, also, saw the clips of your dad.
Yeah?
Yep.
My dad saw the clips of you talking about him. He said, tell Tectone I'm not evil, because I asked him what he got wrong on a test. Because I said, my dad, like I would do a test.
Yeah.
I would get a 97 on the test.
Yeah.
He would be like, well, what'd you miss? That's the first fucking thing he would say every time. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember. He's like, nah, what was it? And that's how it was. He says, I'm not evil for that.
No, okay, I agree. I'm sorry, Asmin Paw. Yeah. No, he's so funny.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
your dad's fucking awesome.
He
Dude.
randomly, I mean, did you see this?
No,
he
I didn't.
randomly showed up at my house. So like he thought that my account was shadow bound.
Yeah.
And he came over while I was streaming, and he just comes over and he just starts talking shit. He's like, yeah, so he didn't fucking do anything. The house is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
He never does anything. He needs to step the fuck up.
I
He needs
love
to
that.
start working harder. Like, you're so lazy. He's like, you're working 8 hours a day. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Dude, your dad needs to make a Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so
Oh,
fun.
That would go hard.
I made a tweet at him playing he would see it if he had a Twitter, dude. It was so funny.
Man.
But yeah, I think your dad's right, man. You need to step the fuck up. You need to clean that house.
God. Yeah,
Get it
I
clean.
mean, I did clean my bathtub. I took a shower for the first time in 2.5 months.
What?
How
I did.
was that?
Well, the reason why is that I was beginning to evolve. And
Right.
I was developing, I guess you would call them scales. And so,
Wow.
like, yeah, part of my skin.
Shingles? I didn't know you were that old.
Well, I don't know what. I don't think it was shingles. I mean, no, it was just like an armor
Shingles?
of, like, just I don't know, like dead skin and dirt that was just like building up on me. And I could tell. The reason why I could tell is I walked to the store and it was like 40 degrees outside, and I didn't even realize how cold it was until I saw everybody else in like massive jackets and everything. And I'm like, oh my god. I can't even really feel how cold it is anymore. And so I thought to myself, maybe I should actually take a shower. Maybe I should do it. And I did. I took a shower for the first time in 2.5 months.
That's fucking gross.
It was amazing. Yeah.
I just wanna.
Wait, so why weren't you showering before that? Because the bathtub
Well, I
was
just
dirty?
thought it was a waste of time.
And it made him bald.
And also, no, I just wanted to see what it was like, right? It's like, because I had like very dry skin, and I was like, well, I wonder what would happen if I just didn't shower for like 2 or 3 months, right? Let's see what happens. What's going to happen to my skin? And just experiment. And,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have to shower, bathe like every day. I used to bathe like 6 times a day.
Why?
You know what? I'm gonna start eating my own shit.
Oh, yeah?
Just to see what
That's
it's
good.
like. For a
Call it
week.
recycling?
Yeah, for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I bathe 6 times a day, it's because I had this therapist that was like, well, what do you do when you're stressed? I was like, I take a bath. They're like, well, why don't you start trying every time you're anxious, you take a bath? And then I got in this habit for about a year and a half of I would take 3 to 6 baths a day.
You get anxious a lot.
Yeah, I was bad back then.
I used to have a panic attack before every stream.
Oh
So I
my
had to like
god,
slam.
I had a phase like that too.
It was bad. I would slam like 150 milligrams of CBD, but then that would make all my streams shit because I'd be so zenned out I could barely like speak a straight
Yeah,
sentence.
that's not good.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I feel like we're done with the episode, to be honest.
Is that it?
I think so.
You wanna read a
150
few,
milligrams of
yeah.
CBD.
Oh, we need to sign the postcards
Oh, yeah,
too.
you gotta send a
Oh,
postcard.
yeah.
Okay, I'll sign that real quick.
What is that, per se?
Sign all 3.
Okay.
150
Yeah,
milligrams
it
of
was
CBD.
weird,
What's
man.
that?
Like doing it for the first time in 2.5 months.
Can I get
my
some?
God.
You don't like taking baths or showering? That's just so nice.
It's not that I don't like it. It's that if I don't have to do it,
You forget.
well, no. It's like, think about all the other things I could do instead.
Yeah, but you can do it in like 5 minutes.
No, you don't understand. Like, I had to, like, I don't use soap whenever I shower. I have, like, a sharp object that I use to scrape all of the skin off. Yeah, I do.
I
And-
want to hope that you're joking.
No, I'm not. I have like I had a screwdriver for a while, and then I stopped doing that. And then I would use my nails, and like they're so bad that I actually have like some scars on my back because I used to dig the skin off of my back whenever I was a kid.
There's a thing called a
Yeah, that's a Quester ward in Searing Gorge. It removes bleeding. I know about that.
My God,
Yeah.
bro, you have to stop with that. That is wild.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, me personally, I think you should just take a bath. They're kind of nice. It's
Yeah,
not,
they're really nice.
yeah, take a nice little shower, warm it up. There's baths and showers that have a steam button where they'll steam it up a little bit before you get in there.
Oh yeah, great. So I can
Yeah.
waste more time.
Yep.
I used to have one of those big bathtubs that you press a button and it makes bubbles.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
A jacuzzi or whatever.
I
it's
have one of
called.
those too, but it doesn't work, so I just look at
Yeah.
it.
But
I don't want to get it
here's
fixed
the
either.
thing, right? Is like, whenever I say this, like, you do really stop getting dirty after about the second week. You do.
Yeah, people used to not have bathtubs or
That's
showers.
right. And so how did they live? Well, to be honest, they died at 40.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what I was thinking. That's why I decided to take a shower. But yeah, no, it's
Well, did you hear about that guy? He was like, he lived in like some
94
remote,
years old.
he lived in, yeah,
94
some
years old.
remote village or something, and he didn't shower for like, what was it, like 50
What do
years?
you think happens
And
every
then
single time?
they convinced him to bathe, and he died like a week later.
No way. The dirt was protecting him. This is real.
He thought that. He believed that. And every time that story goes viral, guess who gets tagged? All fucking day.
Old Baldy.
Old Baldy. Old Baldy's getting a lot of messages about that. And so, yeah, no, I mean, like, and I think it works. There's like a certain degree of it that works. But like, yeah, my routines are not what a normal person should do.
Yep, I agree.
At all. Absolutely not.
But you know what normal people should do?
What's that?
Like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our Patreon.
That's right.
While I'm reading these comments about our last episode,
get it.
which are from Hexen.
Thank you, Steak and Eggs Podcast. I'd like to sub to your channel.
Spend time with the elderly during Christmas.
Okay, well, I just turned 26, so I'm basically the elderly
Yeah,
too
yeah, I was
now.
about to say, yeah, it's not true anymore.
Yep. Mantis Boggin MD55780 says, Asmund's joy playing with the cat reminds me of seeing all the old folks' faces light up when they bring therapy dogs.
The therapy
Thanks a lot,
dog.
guys. Really appreciate that. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Bongo misses you guys. And Blood Suicide, what a name, says, I'm not stressed, she screamed while baking cookies.
I wouldn't really call them cookies.
Yeah, it was more of like a bread pie.
It was a thing. I wouldn't call it food.
You know, I had to talk to my buddy.
What's that?
And I was like, LaRoe, why the fuck did you say that cake tasted good?
Yeah.
I had to talk to him after. I was like, bro, you can tell me it's bad. Anyways,
That's
that
about
was
it,
fun.
boys. Hey. Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff today. Oh my god, yeah. There was like a good 10 minutes where I was just going nonstop, talking non-fucking stop. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you just get to. All right, phone it in.
YouTube video, man.
Yeah, there it is. Well, it's different than a YouTube video because I'm not pulling up a chatter and arguing with them about them.
Yeah, you should.
So, yeah, there it
Which
is.
we might do for the Steak and Eggs special.
1 year anniversary.
That's,
We're gonna do a
like,
live
that's
show.
like a month from now.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
It's a bit.
1 year.
So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you all in the next one.
I assume that this is for you guys. If you were gay, if you were gay, what would be your type of man? Example: lumberjack, bodybuilder, femboy, chonky boy.
Okay, thought a lot about this.
Yeah.
So when I think about being gay, I would immediately think, oh, I want to fuck a femboy because they look like a woman.
Right.
Yeah, but that's
And
because you're straight. So
Exactly.
It's like, yeah.
So if I was actually gay, I probably wouldn't want a femboy. I would probably want somebody who could fuck me just as hard as I'm fucking them. Right?
Like
So-
a grizzly bear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a big, big, big dude.
Okay.
Because then,
Yeah.
gay sex,
Right?
very familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's probably like normal sex. I don't think I've ever seen gay sex.
Well, I think it's a lot like wrestling.
It is like wrestling. And
Yeah.
matches are better when each opponent is equal sizes.
Right.
So I would probably want another 6'7" dude fucking me just as hard as I'm fucking them, and probably bald too.
Okay. So if I was gay, I don't think I'd really have a type. You know, maybe I'd be attracted to personalities. You know, I'd be like, okay, I just want a big, strong man to protect me and take care of me.
There you go.
And you know, as long as they're not, you know, like crazy or like really like something wrong with them, then it's okay.
Okay, well,
What if you were gay?
if I were gay,
Yeah.
how do I, like, if I were gay, like, with women, or, like, if I was a gay man, like...
No, if you were gay with women.
I mean, I've dated a woman, so...
No, but you
it's not
dated...
an if.
But you weren't... Okay, but you weren't gay.
I was bi.
Exactly.
So if I were gay?
Yeah, pure gay.
If I were gay?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd probably be the same. I'm not really into, like butch girls, like masculine-looking girls. I like feminine girls. Like
That makes
girls
sense.
that like do their makeup. They're like soft looking. I don't know. Yeah. That's it. I don't know.
You really get the shoes you want. Or there's a chance you get a pair of shoes that fuck you for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And when you get the shoes that you want, that's a moment in time that you will remember.
So it's like you have to either wear shoes that are really nice or shoes that like permanently have a Lego in them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
Yeah, I
when
got
you
it.
don't get that Lego, it's the best. When you get that Lego,
Analogy for?
for rolling, for being free to play the gotcha game.
Oh, okay.
Because when the new banner units come out, you don't just, I'm going to spend $200 and get them. It's like, holy fuck, I need to make sure I get this by grinding everything. It is, because then if you don't, oh my god, the pit of despair you get is horrible.
I don't even worry about that shit, man. Like, there's no reason to. You just spend more money.
But
it's like, and then if you don't get it, like, I don't feel good. It's like, for example, everybody's walking around and you're walking around with a backpack and there's a concrete block in the backpack.
Oh, Nerdslayer did a new one. Thank you, Nerdslayer, for the excellent content from our stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. Here's Death of a Game, Black Prophecy. Oh, we love that sound, don't we? Yes, we do. Ah, very good. Yeah.
A sci-fi MMO where you can actually pilot a ship or a multitude of ships spanning different classes and sizes was actually a quite rare commodity in the virtual world space. Sure, you had some successful titles like EVE Online, which was less like a dogfight
Be
simulator
right back, guys.
and more
Gotta
like
pee.
a sandbox spreadsheet simulator, and then you had the very iconic space component of Star Wars Galaxies, Jump to Lightspeed. But there aren't many examples of these kinds of titles, really. And nearly every case file in the sci-fi universe of virtual worlds mimics many of the same clues and bits of evidence, making it a graveyard for online RPGs. Black Prophecy was another entry in the world of sci-fi titles, and although it came from a lesser-known developer, it was a developer known for taking risks and creating fun gameplay. Developed by Reactor Media of Hanover, Germany, and published by Tentacle Studios, Black Prophecy launched March of 2011. And although it picked up a lot of steam, as sci-fi titles often do, within a year and some change, it was shuttered. What went wrong with Reactor's Black Prophecy, and why did it find itself on the Death of a Game series, a series where we take a look at dead or dying games and pick out the largest contributing factors, utilizing a timeline of clues and evidence. Find out more by paying attention to the clues as they unfold along the way, culminating in everyone's favorite detective, Final Deduction. But for now, where does the story of Black Prophecy start? Shout out to the Mexican consulate in Houston for making my visa process in Mexico effortless. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, where you can choose from over 800 completely unique champions and have billions of ways to customize them. You could choose from Tormund the Cold of the Dwarven faction, known for being a crowd control or wave-based champion. Then you have Jorgid the Breaker of the Knights Revenant, who is a classic hard-hitting character in the game. The final example I have is Nishak Verminlord of the Skinwalkers, another really strong attack champion, this time from the Skinwalkers faction. You can use one of these champions to access the new Cursed City content, which is a new region in Teleria offering 101 floors per difficulty of non-linear content. But wait, something's actually happening big this month too. The worlds of Raid Shadow Legends and Monster Hunter are colliding in an amazing limited time crossover, starting from now until March 5th. Players can collect 5 Monster Hunter themed legendary champions based on iconic monsters from Capcom's action RPG franchise: Rathalos, Xenagri, Alatrion, Fatalis, and Ruiner Nergigante. You can even get Rathalos, the Blade Master legendary champion, for free, simply by logging into Raid for 7 days between now and March 5th. If you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? Click the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen to get some insane bonuses available only via my link. You'll get 2 epic champions like Lightsworn, a very strong character from the Sacred Order, or Juliana, also from the Sacred Order but this time more focused on attack. Additionally, once you're in game, use promo code RAIDXmas for new and old players. Come find me under my player name, player134906852, or under the clan tag, The Nerdslayers, and we could be legends together. I'll see you on the battlefield. Let's get back to the video. Well, it started back in 2002, with the launch and cult success of the German developer Reactor Media, and their cyberpunk title Neocron. Neocron, despite not being a super well-known title, was innovative and one of the first MMOs to not be an RPG, instead choosing the more FPS-oriented style of gameplay. This made Reactor a pioneer MMO developer in the space. In fact, Neocron is still alive even today, with not just official servers, but even multiple private servers as well, which I think shows that there must have been some kind of quality or good experiences there. Because bad games don't get private servers, detectives. After releasing an expansion and sequel to Neocron, Reactor would transition to a new project by 2006, which would lead to Black Prophecy. Black Prophecy was another science fiction-inspired title. This time, Reactor wanted to commit to being fully in space, a realm not many online RPGs had even attempted. Black Prophecy would be revealed to the world August 21st, 2007, being labeled an action MMO, allowing players to fight in a multitude of spaceships and participate in multiplayer battles, single-player missions, and more. Black Prophecy would have a gameplay reveal April 8th, 2008, and the gameplay was impressive, and impressive enough to catch a science fiction fan's eye like mine, even though I was still playing Star Wars Galaxies at the time. The gameplay looked impressive, and that was already a key part of the puzzle, hopefully being fulfilled. More details would need to be released concerning what the Black Prophecy actually consisted of, however. In a bit of a shocking turn of events, the publisher behind Black Prophecy and Neocron 2
PRV.
for Reactor would fold in August of 2008. This would leave the funding and development of Black Prophecy in a bit of a limbo, further straining things. Like every promising hero's tale, there has to be a moment where the protagonist is challenged, and that came for Black Prophecy April 2010 when they teamed up with the publisher GameAgo, another German company. Not only does GameAgo have a very poor track record of how they handled monetization and MMO development in general, basically choosing to make as much money with the least amount of effort as possible, like always, I have experience with them behind the scenes, and trust me when I say that they are pretty darn incompetent in my case. GameAgo has literally been divorced multiple times from, to let people know that I'm just not trying to fearmonger here, and that this move for Black Prophecy was like electing Scar. It doesn't take a detective to figure that out either, but they needed funding, because their previous publisher had just gone under. So sometimes a deal with the devil, or to complete my analogy, a deal with Scar, is needed. More details would be revealed about Black Prophecy at E3 2010, and the biggest aspects being that the game would be free to play and feature modular ships that you could upgrade. Well, those were the mostly positive aspects. There were some pretty hefty negatives. For starters, Reactor was calling the game an action online game now, which felt like a massive backtracking or downgrade from the initial expectations, which could have been accidental or not. Another issue, unbeknownst to the Engadget writer who lauds it as a positive, was that the game was largely being explained as a lobby sort of online game, where you just sit around and kind of wait for your matchmaking to take place. That's because the majority of the game was instanced, and not in a seamless world. In fact, there was a hub world and zone and a few PvP zones around it, but everything else was just instance matchmaking, which pretty much felt like nothing any MMO on the market felt like or really ever. At most, that's a multiplayer online RPG, a MORPG, which for most people is a different experience than a massive one, especially with the whole idea of space in a sci-fi virtual world too. The expectations are grander, and suddenly Black Prophecy had shrunk in scope and expectation. They would release another trailer at Gamescom August 2010, and there was still a chance if the gameplay was good enough that people would play the game regardless if it had ground components or more persistent online RPG aspects. The problem is, in a sense, when you're seen or function as an MMO, people have lower gameplay and graphics standards. Black Prophecy was gorgeous for the time, so the graphics weren't really an issue there. However, if the gameplay wasn't up to par, shedding the MMO tag might have actually hurt them in the public eye in that respect. Black Prophecy would launch March 21st, 2011, and it managed to get some major coverage from two different outlets I have quoted, Rock Paper Shotgun and IGN. Rock Paper Shotgun was inclined to return to their game in their impressions, stating that although the game was proving to be laggy due to these server issues, they enjoyed the gameplay and thought that there was enough there serviceable to work with. IGN would rate the game a 7.5 out of 10, which for an online RPG was actually pretty impressive. They would exclaim their enjoyment of the game in their review. Black Prophecy is currently one of the best looking free-to-play MMOGs out there and is a perfect game for picking up and playing when you've got a bit of time to kill and fancy a bit of, well, killing. Though it's free, the game would be vastly improved with some added variety, less reliance on grind, and a truly open universe. If you liked games like Freelancer, Star Wars X-Wing, and Wing Commander, I liked all of them, it's well worth a download. IGN also pointed out some negatives, however, such as only being able to play as a fighter, not a miner or trader, like in EVE Online. Also having a total lack of free roam, greatly harming the immersion and the massive feeling of the game. They also disliked the fairly repetitive missions and mission structure, including the lack of story within them and the game itself. Worse, because the game is free to play, the repetitive missions are almost motivating to make you spend money on getting the faster progression. Because the game is largely played through matchmaking, you are at the mercy of the matchmaking system to properly matchmake you, which it doesn't, allowing for great range and levels between those that are matchmade. I thought I would offer some of my perspective on Black Prophecy as well, being a lover of spacefaring virtual worlds of all sizes, and at the time a still active player of Star Wars Galaxies in the Jump to Lightspeed space expansion on the Starsider server, which was the unofficial space server. While Black Prophecy being free to play would give it a lot of leeway in my eyes, however, I was kind of sort of spoiled in a sense. The space combat in Star Wars Galaxies was incredible. Most players were playing with joysticks for reference. To accompany an incredibly rich, massive open world RPG experience, I might add, Black Prophecy by contrast felt like a very, very clunky, and I would go as far to say even like the smallest ships felt clunkier than like mid-tier Star Wars Galaxy ships. But it wasn't just the gameplay. It's also the whole rest of the Star Wars Galaxies game that existed, and Black Prophecy had nothing of the sort. These things weren't easy to fix, which means that if the gameplay wasn't good enough on its own right, the lack of all the other things that we just mentioned was going to hurt the player base of Black Prophecy. By February of the next year, in a surprising turn of events, Gamigo would announce another Black Prophecy title, this time Nexus Conflict. This was strange because the other Black Prophecy title was still around, with this game serving as a sort of prequel of sorts. But realistically, Reactor was only going to focus on one of them, right? And it looked like already, so early after launching Black Prophecy, they were looking to shift to another version of the game. Nexus Conflict would feature what I would describe as frigate gameplay, versus the previous fighter gameplay. I chuckled when I read this and realized this because I realized that, well, that's a lot of realizations, that my previous complaints about the clunkiness are sort of alleviated in a band-aid fix sort of way. If you just increase the scale of the ships and the combat, then the clunkiness doesn't matter, right? The problem is, I don't really know what else this version of the game added, and it really did seem like this was their last-ditch effort to keep the game alive. The shuttering of both titles would be announced at basically the same time in September of 2012. A year after Black Prophecy launched, and the same year that Nexus War launched. Reactor would point to financial realities, which for a free-to-play game didn't just mean that they weren't making enough money, it meant that Gamigo wasn't pleased with the results as well. The fact that they even managed to launch in the first place was already impressive given its history though. Notice how they also don't call it an MMO anymore too? The servers would shut down September 26, 2012, and I can't help but feel like Gamigo placing unrealistic expectations on a title was a large reason for it not even lasting a year. Just think about that. If you put everything like the press release says into this, and even